Hello, good evening, everyone. It is the Thursday night forum. Thursday nights we gather together and we talk Arsenal. Cade Mila Fulcha, pull up a chair. Everyone, you're all welcome. And somebody's not going to be quite muted. They can hear me in the volume in the background. Well, listen, welcome everybody. Tony and Alonso, thanks for joining.
Hello.
Gary, of course, and Stanley, thanks for joining.
Hello.
I
Stand
thought
okay.
maybe we'll start off by telling everyone, listen, go ahead and subscribe, hit that like button right now. We had great feedback from the last show on Sunday. I hope everybody is doing well, being safe, and but Tony, I think we have to start off with the news of the day, right? Chelsea. This is an Arsenal podcast, but we have to talk about Chelsea a little bit, right?
We can. I've been a little too busy to pay attention to what's going on there today. But
Well, the BDSs are not quite BDSs anymore, Tony.
yeah, they're kind of shrunk down. They're having erectile dysfunction problems.
Yeah. Um, Gary, fill us in. What's been going on today with
Yeah.
Chelsea?
Yeah. So I'm gonna say hello to the chat. I see Lolo was in earlier. BX Gunner is there.
Mhm.
Some Tony guys in there. He's always in there. Yeah. So Chelsea. Well, everything that we when we look at some of the ownerships that we have in the league, you always go, there's many reasons why they probably shouldn't be owners in the league for some of the good or some of the bad things that they do or things that just aren't becoming of an owner, associations and all of that. So once again, here we are. you know Russia's doing whatever they're doing, and anybody associated with them can't be part of the Premier League. And like I said last week, it's a perception thing. Like when it suits them, they're okay, and as soon as it looks like it's going to affect their money, then you got to go. All right, this must be affecting their money. All right, so now it's time for Chelsea's owner, Abramovich,
Abramovich.
Abramovich to go.
Hmm.
And what about the other owners that have similar kind of makeup in terms of what they have in their closet and how they behave themselves? So you dance with the one you brought. So this is what you get. But yeah, no, I I don't kind of like it because they could have resolved this sooner. You just have to decide who you want to be as a league. If you're okay with those types of owners, then what's going on now shouldn't have had any bearing on whether or not you keep them in the league or not, right? Because you overlooked probably some of the things they did beforehand, and now it hit a boiling point, and you let them go. And then there's owners that are just coming in that have a similar makeup in terms of things that you probably don't want to be associated with, your league. And what happens when something happens to them? Not saying what, but you know, when it's bad for business, are they going to do the same thing again? You know, so I don't know. I know the situations are different between the different ownerships, but I just don't think it's a good look for the league if that's where they want to go. But it seems like they're happy to take the brown envelope, when it suits them, and then shun them when things don't look good for them. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Bex kind of said Arsenal supporters have waited many years to see Chelsea and United in the mud. Many years. I hope we can ultimately capitalize on this.
How
So,
is
go ahead, Tony.
how is Usmanov not one of the seven that got sanctioned?
Uh, I'm not sure about that actually. Yeah, and it's a very, as with these owners, it's a very gray area. Um, so what? Administration is the word, right? Chelsea have been put into administration. They are
yep,
not allowed to buy or sell any players.
yeah,
They're not allowed to improve any of the salaries or contracts of the players,
yeah,
but they are able to just fulfill their fixtures and probably all that will entail that. Now, I think I saw something about 20,000 per trip if they're going.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
the most
that
expensive would be in Europe, right, Gary?
well, that's the problem. It's like, what are you? We're gonna punish one of your best teams in your league for something they did not do. The players, the people that work there, the staff, the
Yep.
coaches, and all of that, they
Yep.
have nothing to do with the ownership.
Yep.
Right? They have nothing to do. Some of them probably were there before the ownership. Some of them came in later. But why wouldn't you not want to play for a team? So I kind of feel like you're just punishing the wrong people. If you want to take the team away, do it, but you don't kind of handcuff them and now ask them to continue on. I mean, you're hurting your league in a sense, because if they're struggling because of it, you're hindering them, and then you look bad in the eyes of the football world because your team's struggling now, right? I mean, Chelsea won the Champions League last year, and if all of these restrictions kind of hinder their progress, then what? You haven't done it. You haven't hurt the right people. I don't get the reasons for the restrictions on them. They should be able to handle the business that they were doing beforehand. They have to travel for the big games, right? To put the Premier League on the map, right, as one of the best in the world. And now they're saying, you know what? Nah, we're gonna make it a little bit difficult for you for no reason at all. Like, these sanctions don't make any sense to me, because they've said this is not your team anymore. What more do you want to do? So you punish the players. I don't get it. I don't get that
Yeah.
at all.
The thing as well is I'll give Stan a second to get settled in. Alonso, we as fans, this could have happened to Arsenal with, Usmanov, right? This could have happened with Arsenal many years ago. So definitely we're not going to. I've seen some Arsenal fans sort of happy about it, but this could have happened to any fan base in the world,
Yeah, and consider a blessing in disguise, really, because we all know how we feel about Southern Stand and such. But at the end of the day, he's American, so we don't have that friction or that greed that Russia has, right? So you got to be thankful for that opportunity that was given to Stan Kroenke, where Uzunov had an interest in Arsenal, so much so that he had I believe it was 60-40 at the time. So it could be a lot worse for us supporters, I guess, to be, I guess, an English team that is owned by Russian. Could have been a lot embarrassing for us, because in my opinion, we're more a classy English club, to where as Chelsea essentially bought their trophies. Uh, as far as I see it, I think that they have classic fans. I think there's no legacy behind Chelsea. Uh, so yeah, I mean, people forget how bad they were until Uzunov bought them. So I think there's lots to be said about how, I guess, Tom Kroenke does his business. I mean, we're not wrong. We're not in favor of him, but at the end of the day, it came a lot worse when Uzunov took over. So yeah.
Stan, we're getting a little bit of feedback on your side, so I'll stay southeast and southeast, right, and northeast. Yeah.
No, I mean, I, as far as buying your trophies, I mean, what is City doing? Many will say they're doing the exact same thing. Their owners just haven't got punished yet.
Right.
So
Yeah.
For whatever, and that could happen. It may not. If you know what you're getting into, they know what they were getting into when they said, "Yeah, you can be an owner for one of our teams." So nothing should be a surprise. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, we'd all would like to go in and have our owners spend as much money as possible, so we can get the best players and best managers and all of that. If they don't have any rules, then they're not breaking any rules, right? So they figure out a way to, I guess, circumvent it, then that's on the league. And this is always going to be back on the league. They let it. I always say either
Let
let
it
it happen, either let it happen, or or
Oh, you're coaching it.
exactly.
Did that come out today that they got sanctioned?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
Chelsea are
first
being
thing this
sanctioned.
morning. Yeah.
See, I didn't know all that
That's
until
all right.
just
We're not
because.
going to spend a lot of time on this one. I want to get Stan in to get his 2 cents worth. BX Gunner said Arsenal became the laughing stock, endless banter club, free falling to the bottom. If you had told me we'd be in a position to thrive with them going in the opposite, I wouldn't have believed that tables have turned. So Stan, what's your take on? We'll just dive into Chelsea for a little bit to start off as everyone's getting settled in here.
How's my sound? Is that better?
Crisp.
Okay.
No reverb.
So, regarding Chelsea and the war and everything that's going on, I would like to say that I'm probably best not qualified to comment on it because I don't know all the ins and outs.
Mhm.
I only know what I'm fed through the mainstream media. And even if the mainstream media tell me that aliens landed on the White House lawn, to those aliens knock on my door, I ain't believing shit that comes out of their mouths because the mainstream media just tells you what they want. What I would say is that I'm the sort of person that I don't pick the wars that I support. I think all wars are bad. There's a lot of war going on in the world at the moment, other than what's going on in Ukraine. And the thing is, with war, people get hurt, sometimes worse. And if that doesn't happen, a lot of people usually get displaced. Where they live gets destroyed, or they fear for their lives, and they have to pack up a car with very little belongings and leave. So, I feel for those people, but I'm not going to comment on it because, as I say, I'm not educated enough to know all of the ins and outs.
Just talking about Chelsea here.
But with regard to Chelsea, again, there's a part of me that feels that it sounds a little bit harsh on the owner of the club. I mean, you know, if I work in an office and it turns out that my boss, who I've been working with and had a good relationship, turns out to be a serial killer in his spare time, am I guilty by association? I don't know. But as I say, there's more to it. There's things like his company makes steel for Russian tanks. That's another thing. I don't know all the ins and outs, but it sounds a bit harsh. I mean, what happens with if the club is sold and let's say they get 1.5 billion for it? What happens to that 1.5 billion? It doesn't go to the owner because he doesn't own that club anymore. So where does that money go? I mean, we should be lucky that we didn't go with Alisher Uzumov at Arsenal because we could probably find ourselves in the same boat. Then again, though, the way that the league hates us, I'm surprised that we're not in the same boat anyway. For probably just, I don't know, visiting Russia or some shit like that, or you know what I mean, or drinking vodka.
Visit Rwanda.
Yeah? Exactly. I'm surprised that we haven't been put in a frame somehow. But yeah, I mean, it sounds a bit harsh. But
I wish I could buy one without that on it.
Yeah, I don't know all the ins and outs of it. I mean, does this mean that his assets are frozen worldwide? I mean, all of a sudden now does Abramovich wake up one morning and he's potless? Is that how it works? I don't get it. Obviously, if he's in cahoots with somebody that's perpetrating war and you know he's supporting the war effort, that's another issue to look at. But yeah, that's basically my thoughts on it.
Yeah,
glad it's not us.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, as fans, we don't get to choose our owners. We've been complaining about the Cronkies for quite a few years, and I'm not saying they're the best thing since sliced bread, but they're not the worst thing in the world either. But that'll start. I better be quiet because that'll spark a whole different conversation, Tony, tonight. Where's Tony? You're here, gracing us later with an appearance. So listen, I wanted to get off this a little bit. No away supporters, Tony. Arsenal fans will not be going to Stamford Bridge, and there'll only be about 60% capacity at the ground when Arsenal do play there at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, then Chelsea only gets 30,000 when they go to European games, slightly less for Premier League. I think it's kind of a bad idea. You're punishing the players, you're punishing the clubs and fans. Like I said, why isn't Everton getting any sanctions with Usmanov's dealings with them? Where's Newcastle for using slave labor? I mean, where do you draw the line at here?
Where do you draw the line? Well, we draw the line right here. We're going to stop talking about Chelsea and start talking about Arsenal right now. Nice segue, Tony, and that wasn't even planned. I thought we would sort of ask you, the
He
viewers.
skidded into that, didn't he? Skidded right into it like Starsky and Hutch. Moving
Right
on.
over the bonnet of the car, Stan. Remember that? I thought we'd talk about some topics that people in the chat box can actually get involved in. So give us your feedback on this. I'm going to ask. I'm going to start it off, and I think we all have some prepared questions or some questions fed to the host here that he's going. I'm looking at you, Gary.
Some
I
of
gave
them,
you the questions. Go on, let's do it.
Gary has formally submitted the questions to me.
I sent you some questions, which I understand you read on your commute home and almost got chucked off your mode of transport.
Stan, did you do some nitrous oxide?
Are you on helium?
Why? Do I sound really high then?
Your voice is a little bit. Yeah.
I didn't know Lacazette was joining us.
Might be because I rebooted this laptop. It's going for another one, and I'm using this mic. So I don't know. Do I sound really like Pinky and Perky?
I don't know. I think the chipmunks are coming into town.
Really?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, the chipmunk Alvin. We'll call you Alvin.
I wasn't calling Lacazette because
You
he
go and listen to some of this. I'll be back. I can't take this.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
All right.
Poor guy, man.
All right. Here we go. People can give. Alonso couldn't give two things about Chelsea. Chelsea fans applauded their owner. I think a good one to start off with, Alonso. I'll start off with you in rotation. There was a discussion with Jamie O'Hara and Laura Woods, and the question earlier this week was, would it be an overachievement to finish top four? So everybody in the comment section, let us know what you're thinking as well. Is it an overachievement for Arsenal to finish top four?
It's not a reach. I think that the way Arteta finally has his team playing really well lately, I think that, there were predictions out there that we finished 6th or 5th, but at the end of the day, I think that it would be, it'd be overachievement if we did finish for surpass anyone's expectations. I think that when we were entering the transfer window in summertime, we weren't expecting to spend for Ramsdale or Ben White, the Conga, the left back, Tavares. So there's a lot of things to look forward to. I don't think we'd imagine them being this good in their early in their Arsenal careers. So I think that there's lots to be said about that. Tomiyasu also has shown that he's worth what we got for him. So no, I think that being an overachievement, the top four is aiming high, and that's where we should be as a football club.
Gary, I did warn you when Stan was a little bit late getting prepared in the green room that he was preparing something for us, Gary, and we heard it in the opening thoughts from Stan. Right?
We did.
Oh,
what if it came and if it's come and gone, do it again.
I don't know. There might
And
be
they do
some
it-
helium
and
still
they do it-
there.
and they
Who
do
knows?
it better. I want more. He's muted.
We want more. We want more.
How does
Gary.
it sound now? Because I played it back, and it does sound a bit fucking Pinky and Perky-ish. And then someone's in the chat box.
Yeah.
Bollocks. Is it still the same?
Yeah.
It's right.
Is it still?
Mobe Gunner.
Is it him and Lacazette him were partying the other day? Is that what's going on?
Yep.
Oh my
Stan
god.
He's
is
still
playing around
Lacazette's whippets.
Stan is playing around with helium at best.
Here's a question. Should Leicester City give back their Premier League trophy because they overachieved for it?
No.
So We'll finish as high as we can, and we will love it, and everybody will hate it, and that's plus. That's what we want, right? So overachieving, yes, based on where we were at the beginning of the season, but does it really matter? Does it really matter? I don't. It shouldn't, right? The only reason why you finish the way you do is because other teams either fail or you beat them. Either one, it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah. The narrative, Gary, is that Tottenham are faltering, Manchester United are faltering, so we're getting it by default. You know,
Yeah, and the only reason why Liverpool is getting second place is because everybody else is faltering. So should we say that they shouldn't be lauded for getting second in the league because everybody else sucks?
Mhm.
You know, according to I don't. Nah, it is what it is. You know, those teams can be beaten. So there you go. So I don't. You know what?
From you, we're not overachieving. We're where we should
We're
be.
getting where we're overachieving based on the year, but is it a negative? I don't think so. And they're trying to make it like a negative, like because everybody else fails, you win. Well,
Yeah.
that's like nah. We'll take fourth, and everybody else will hate it, and we'll love it. All right?
Salty tears all the way, Tony.
Yeah.
We love it. Stan, keep the voice, by the way, from Ray.
So there I was making my poignant stuff about war in a bloody Pinky and Perky voice.
Basically,
I was trying to be sincere about what's going on. You know what I mean?
You say pinky? It is a pinky in the brain. It's not the same thing.
as high as possible, yes,
We
please.
used to have cartoons called Pinky and Perky.
We had
And they were
pinky in the brain, right?
I think they were like chipmunks or some shit.
Wasn't it?
Right. Ray Anderson
Tony,
definitely.
you remember that pinky in the brain?
Yeah.
We had the
winning game.
Animaniacs.
There you go.
Tony, are we overachieving this season?
Last year our goal was top 4. This year Arteta and Adu want to tell us what our goals were. All the top teams are faltering. We've been beating the teams we're supposed to beat. So no, we are not overachieving.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I don't think we're overachieving. Stan.
I do.
What do you think?
Yeah, we're doing better than what I thought we would do. I didn't, I still think for me that the minimum requirement has to be the Europa League. So that the fact that we're in 4th and we look like we're riding good, I think it's an overachievement with the small squad that we have. We don't really have a lot of variety in what we can do. We've basically got to approach most of the games in the same manner. We're playing kind of like FA Cup games. So I do think that we're overachieving, but that's a good thing. I'm pleased about that.
Yeah.
Hey Stan, I made a comment about that or add on. Remember how you commented about how Lacazette is playing more like Emil Hinsky?
Yeah.
Right, and I see that because he got 2 assists on a Sunday, so he's playing more of a center forward role instead of a striker role, which I think we do appreciate.
Oh, I mean, his assists, have been really helpful. Mm-hmm. I just still think that we're still missing a little something from that area of the pitch. And again, that's one of the reasons why I think that we're kind of overachieving. And long may it continue.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get as many points in the bag as possible to keep in 4th.
Stan, are assists just as valuable as goals, though?
It is if they get in the back of the net.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? If it's an assist, you don't talk about assists that never were. You only talk about an assist if it leads to a goal. So it's important.
Yeah. So in that respect, Lacazette, while he's not scoring goals, he's empowering the players around us, the 3 players around us.
Yeah, he's making a contribution still. There is an end product coming from him because without the assist, you don't get the goal. It would be nice. It would be nice that if he was able to add goals to what he's doing, and we can see right that it's not because of that he's not getting chances. He's been getting some chances. He's just been unable to make the most of those chances when it's his time to put it in the back of the net.
Get out of that.
That needs to be sharpened.
Yeah. Get out of that ice bath, Gary, and start scoring goals. Not you, Gary, but Lacazette.
Yeah, no. If he gets 20 assists, I think we'll overlook the goals because he needs to do. I think that's kind of where I am right now. Because he needs to get us goals. And if he's not going to do that, and he can get 20 assists, then so be it, because we'll take that as well. All right.
Yeah.
It means there's more opportunities for everybody else.
He's turned into the positive veteran that we've lacked from BX Gunner. So
He's doing everything that he can to make the team better. Right now, scoring isn't it, but everything else that he does, I think, is a positive and a benefit. The team is benefiting from it. Which some players you're like, well, having a bad day here, but we don't see the good that they bring to the game. He's doing exactly that. So I think we're going to take that. And a lot of the things that he's doing aren't even an assist. It's, at least for me, if we're talking about bringing in senior leadership to show the players what to do, he's doing that, right? If they need somebody to route the crowd, he was doing that to start. Now we see a lot more of the teammates doing that. Somebody talking with the officials, we see him doing that, and now I think we see Erdegaard now getting involved and Gabriel getting involved there. When he comes back on defense, just because that's what he needs to do to get things right. Yep. I mean, these are all things that we need. We need. We do want the scoring, but guess what? We're getting those opportunities regardless of his opportunities. That he's only missing a few anyways, but we are getting opportunities elsewhere. So if we get if he gets, I think if he gets 20 assists and you get 10 goals from multiple players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Milsrud will be there. Saka hopefully will be there. Maybe we'll see whoever else can catch up. Martinelli be nice. I just don't know if we're going to see that from him. I mean, I think Pepe can definitely do it. We've seen him do that before, right? The end of the season's coming. He turns it on. So, yeah.
Can I add something to that, Ray? I feel that if Arsenal miss out on 4th place, I think it will be because what we have isn't good enough. And what I mean by that is that could be down to depth as well, because I don't believe there's any players that go out and play these games at the moment. The team that we currently have, I don't think there's anyone out there who is just going through the motions and is not doing all of the basic things that they need to do. And, if you want to put it into as an incentive, as I understand it, should we make 4th place, as if Arsenal makes 4th place, the players are due heavy bonuses. Some of those players will get bonuses up to £500,000. So I don't, if I'm Alexander Lacazette, even though I might be leaving in the summer, I'm still going to be working hard, because £500,000 is a nice little booster to what you've got. Thank you very much. So if we don't make 4th place, it will be down to, I think, of that we just didn't have enough to spread out over the games, and that could be down to maybe somebody important or two picks up an injury or picks up a card where they have to miss games, and then that puts us in a precarious position.
Yeah, I think by what you're saying, Stan, is we are extracting everything we can from the players and the talent that we have in the squad, if not the first 11.
And right now we're going through one of those fine lines that we don't want to have to go through, right? Tomiyasu and Milsrud Rowe have been out for injuries and health and illnesses, right?
Yep.
And we know Xhaka is destined to get a card or two. So then we would have completed the trifecta, and hopefully it doesn't affect us. So far, so good, right? We've been good with it. We haven't missed Tomiyasu, and I kind of feel like the longer Cedric sits out there, the more chances we're going to be looking back and going, damn it, Cedric, right? Because we did that earlier in the season, and he's doing really good. Can he do it consistently like a Tomiyasu? I don't think so.
Yeah, he's one of those. He's one of those like Granit Xhaka. He's got a certain sell-by date. It goes stale after a few games, and something happens. Ray Anderson said Laka also drags some defenders away, and he does keep them occupied with his physicality.
I feel that if we'd signed, let's say we'd signed a Vlahovic or somebody like that, I'd think you would see that even more. I think when the opposition realised that we actually have a goal threat as well, that striker will create space because defenders will be drawn to them, in what Ray Anderson says. I don't see it so much with Lacazette because he comes from deep a lot. But if you've got someone at the sharp end who will make more of those chances that we're getting in the team that Lacazette can't put away, that again will create more space for the players like Saka, ESR, Martinelli, etc.
Stan, do you have a question for the panel and the viewers?
Yeah, I have a question for the viewers. Why do you do this to yourselves every week? You tune in, you're there, you're loyal. Why are you putting yourselves
Cut
through
him
it?
off. Cut
They
him
don't,
off.
they don't have
Cut
anything
him
better
off.
else to do.
Ray, where's the button? Press the button.
I'm hovering my fingers over the button.
Grab the
You
hook.
mute
The
me,
hook-
but
the
you
hook
don't mute
comes in, next
Stan.
thing you know, stands out of the.
They come here every week, Stan, to see what kind of party trick that you're gonna come out with.
I'm
So,
glad that
so-
they do come. I'm glad that they do come.
Yeah, I was
they
thinking
come
about
here,
that.
You know,
I thought they wanted to check out my wardrobe every week.
Mr. Tom said, "I'm going home and I'm going to go to bed." I'm like, okay, I can't argue with that, Mr. Tom. Everyone in the UK, we really do appreciate you and everyone.
he had a bad week. I can imagine him screaming into his pillow as we speak.
Except Stephen Denham, since he hasn't come to backstage yet.
Dad,
We
why
don't
do you come
appreciate
here?
Stephen.
I've got nothing else to do. I've got nowhere else to be. And you're the only ones that'll have me, so here I am.
That's
You can
not
be
quite-
you can be watching
It's
wrestling.
definitely not. It's
video
definitely
on-
not. It's,
Ray, I
it's
told
definitely
you
not
this
for
is
the-
going to happen. Ray, I
It's
told
def-
you this is going to happen. See?
It's definitely not for the wages. I
Why?
can tell you that.
It's not for the-
It's not for the wages.
With beaver pelts I send you aren't enough.
You could probably afford the Stamford Bridge right now, the Chelsea, from what you're getting. So, yeah, listen, if you don't have a question, I have one that was fed to me from Gary. So just to tag on to what we were talking about, because it was a bit of a segue with Lacazette. If Lacazette goes, who replaces that leadership? Who takes on the responsibilities?
Gabrielle, he's already trying to.
I think if we're going to be buying some players in the summer, let's say we're bringing in 3 or 4 players, I would say at least 2 of those players need to have some sort of a maturity about them. Maybe they've won something in another league, they've played in a few other countries, they're of an age profile of somewhere between maybe 26 to 29, somewhere around there. I think that we would, even though they don't have to wear the armband, somebody else that's already there can be the captain. But I think we still need a couple of players of that kind of a profile just to do some of the things that Lacazette, you can see what he does, right? You can see it. It's the work ethic. It's that work ethic that when things are going bad for us, he can still G up the team rather than a lot of young players thinking, what the fuck do we do now? And looking to each other. And meanwhile, the game is passing you by. You ain't got time to stop and think. So we need a couple of players that one can be in a team, someone can come up from the bench, but I definitely think that we need a couple of older heads. They don't have to be pensioners. They don't have to be 32, 31, but a little bit of experience.
I want a dominant personality. Right now, the dominant personality in the dressing room seems to be Granit Xhaka, and that's not a long-term solution for
That's
this
not
team.
even that's not even an option. I don't even know why we keep bringing. Why do we keep bringing it up?
Because it appears to be the truth.
It's not. It's not. It is
in terms
not.
of the perceived leadership in the
No,
dressing room.
you actually said it right there. Perceived, which means
Yes.
it's not.
Yeah.
Lacazette is the leadership that we need. So we need somebody to replace that.
Yeah.
If Jocker had it, he would be showing it right now. We wouldn't have to go. It's perceived.
And also, Gary, you forget that the armband, once Lacazette gets so off, goes to Tierney, not Xhaka. So that's the other relevant point that it needs to be made, is that now it's Tierney's captaincy now, because Xhaka doesn't want it anymore, and he's proven that. But maybe it's for the best.
Zaka's wore it 4 or 5 times since
Right.
Zuba's been gone.
Right. No. But the last 2 games, Tierney has worn it. So
But here's the thing, right? When things go down on the pitch at the moment, whether it's a dispute between some of our players and the opposition, or there's a dispute with the referee, even though Xhaka's not got the armband, he's one of the first ones in there when there's something to argue about. And I'm always, when I see him going in there, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm always like, no, not you, anyone but you, just because of his rep. I'm just worried that he'll go mouthing in and he'll get a card because it's Xhaka.
I don't know why we
He
need
has
three of
that
them.
reputation. So even though he's playing the role, I just don't want it to be him. I want it to be someone else. Just in case he gets shown a card.
You already got Gabriel and Lacazette going in there. You don't need Zaka going in there.
Yep. So Tony is going to improv it a little bit, right, Tony? If you do have a question, shout it out. Alonso, if you do have a question or a topic you want to...
Mine would be, do you re-sign Lacazette for a year since we need 3 strikers, since Balogun needs to go out on loan? Eddie's free to leave.
Yeah, I was.
Keep Lacazette for another year.
Right. Would you keep Lacazette for another year, Stan?
I'd keep him for another year, but I wouldn't increase his wages. He's getting paid enough as it is. So I'd give, but the thing is, he wants security. He wants more than 1 year. So it feels like a stalemate. Who blinks first? I don't think Arsenal are going to give him more than 1 year because they've still got people like Willian and that fresh in the memory.
They can't do what they did in the January window and then turn around and then give Lacazette an increase. That at least, same money, and then maybe, depending on how things go, an extension, like an automatic extension that kicks in if things look good, because I think he wants some longevity with whatever he gets. But we really don't need him to play as much as he does now, right? Who's got me on the echo? I can hear myself. Is that anybody else?
Not me.
No, but you know what? He doesn't need. I mean, we need him for a lot of things, but we definitely need some young legs out there. Because in the games where we don't need him, we don't have that striker, right? In the games where we are going to dominate, he's not the player that we want at that point, right? We need to put teams away. We can't do that with him right now. But we need to play these tough teams. Now every game's tough anyways, but, if we had a pure striker who's going to sit up top for the whole game, we don't have that guy right now. Who's going to run, who's going to get on the end of these crosses and these passes that are coming out, who has pace? We don't have that right now.
Yeah. Rival fans say Saka is overrated, and the Arsenal fan base have him overrated. Yet all those rival fans would take Saka in a heartbeat.
Exactly.
Definitely, Stephen, definitely.
Exactly.
I don't get the captain issue, said Brownie. They have in the UK. In Europe, the captain is always the longest-serving player. Well, that might be kind of Xhaka at this point.
This is what you've got to stop bringing that name up.
Rob Holding.
Oh, come on, guys, please! I'm getting pain in my ears.
I don't set out to make Gary unhappy.
You
but,
keep saying it.
But I do anyway. Here's one of my questions then. Is Gabriel Magalhaes a weak link at the back? Who wants to go first? Is Gabriel a weak link? Tony? Can't hear you.
That's the best he sounded all day.
I sounded like poetry. Alonso, is Gabriel a weak link? I mean, there's Cedric there, there's Ben White, and Tierney.
And Tomiyasu as well.
Tomiyasu.
There was some
Let me ask you a different way. Do teams? I thought Watford tried to target Gabriel a little bit on Sunday.
Yeah, because they saw the mishap against Wolves. Sometimes he does get erratic at times, and he doesn't need to be. He does some silly fouls, like the ones against Man City. Those weren't fouls that you would normally see by him. And unfortunately, I think those fouls kind of stick into his head a little bit. I think he doesn't really know how to make those fouls go away. And I think that he gets recurrences of those fouls in his head. And I think that it could cause issues. Whether or not his English has improved, We don't know. But I think Van White is a good partner for him to help him with those moments that they need both of them to stop a threat. So I think that they both complement each other very well. I think they're still learning from each other as well. So, and I think sometimes it kind of also helps to have a left back like Kieran Tierney there as well, who communicates as well. So I think that he's still learning. Is he weak linked? I'm not so sure about that. I think it still takes time. I think that he's had a lot of partners in his career. So I think it's unfair to judge him based on his mistakes. I think that he's still growing as a player, especially coming from learning like some French. So I think there's a lot to still learn from him, and but he has qualities. He has good qualities as well. So yeah. So
I'm gonna go to Tony next because he got dropped out there when you really wanted to say something there, Tony. You got dropped out.
Yeah, I was just going to start with no, hell no is where I was at.
Yeah, and then you
Start off
typed
with-
something else in.
Yeah, then I said fuck no in the comments because I couldn't say anything yet. But no, he's been solid, our best defender for 2 seasons. Now the last 3 or 4 games, there's no overlap protecting him because Grant Xhaka's up the pitch. Nobody else is filling in the void from when Tierney's going up and when Tomiyasu's going up. We're being left exposed. So that's down to the coaching. If you're
Can I
going to
say
do that,
something about? Oh, sorry, Tony. I thought you'd finished, mate.
Yeah,
No,
he's going to shout at you if you do that, Stan. He'll shout at you.
I will shout at Stan. I like
Tony's
Stan.
doing good tonight, though.
I give Stan the password so he can use Peacock and watch wrestling all day.
My missus not happy about that, Tony, but we'll talk about that later.
I'm grounded by your missus.
She's like, she walks in the lounge now. She's like, "You're not watching more wrestling again."
But anyway, as I say, to me, he's shown that he's a solid defender just because he's had some mishaps the last 3 or 4 games. Ramsdale's done it. Ben White hasn't looked as good. Just like I said, there's been a tactical shift. You got Xhaka up the pitch. There's a dropping back, filling in the holes. A lot of that's Odegaard's doing it. You see him basically being a box-to-box now instead of a cam. And that's pretty much all I said. So, Stan, you can shout in now.
So to me, it's more that it looks a little bit like Granit Xhaka's position on the pitch has changed a little bit. He seems a little bit higher up, doesn't he? Rather than having that double pivot, which we had, and seemed to be causing some problems for Xhaka, he's moved up a bit further. And I think maybe Mikel Arteta's worked out. The further Xhaka's away from our goal, the less trouble we can have.
Undoubtedly.
Because when Tierney was bombing up on the left, it was Xhaka that was shuffling over to cover that space. Now that Xhaka is taking up that higher position, it's kind of left that channel a little. It's in a different state now for Tierney to patrol. So he's not getting up the field as much, but it seems to be working. And I think that once we have more variety in the midfield, you may see that we may go back to that with Tierney in certain games, getting more coverage and getting more forward.
Stephen said, no, he's just been off his game the last few game matches. He could be carrying a slight knock. That's why he's starting game slow. Look at Partey when he's got a knock. He's right off the pace. Looks terrible. It's just a combination in games, Gary. He's been caught out a couple times, that back pass. And maybe teams starting to target him now, thinking he's a weak link. But is he?
Can I answer Ray Anderson's question?
Sure, jump in front of Gary.
I haven't gained any weight. Yeah, I got some light fuzzies going on the side, so
yeah,
Dude,
that's probably why it looks
dude
like
lost,
if I've
dude
gained
lost
any
a
weight.
leg, man. He didn't gain any weight. Come on.
I think it's just been stuffing his face with like crisp and stuff.
Nope, my sugar's been good.
Edibles.
No,
I've been spending an hour and a half to 2 hours a day at the gym. I'm not.
there you go. Tell him.
What, on the treadmill?
No, I do use the.
You didn't give him the
It's a
finger or
recum-
anything. Come on.
It's called a recumbent bike. It's like has a seat back on it because I can't use a normal exercise bike because it puts too much pressure on the leg.
I
What's
mean,
going on with Gabriel, Gary?
to say at 24, are we expecting him to be looking like a proper center back, or is I think he's still got another
Hell, they
year.
don't hit their prime until they're 28 to 30.
So I think he's still got time to grow into it, and he's shown that he can, right? So, and we can't keep saying that they're young, and then when they struggle, then we kind of like put too much pressure on them because they are going to struggle, and that's the problem, and that's why depth is an issue. Like we can't rotate them in and out, so we can do that, and then not dip in form is what you're gonna get. So I don't know. I think a lot is known now. We know where our gaps are. We know when we're good, we're really, really good.
Yeah.
And when we
know what we need to do
Yep.
in the market, right?
Yep. The answers are right there. They should be easy to they should be easy to identify. Where do they get done? That's going to be the problem.
All right, guys. Yeah, go ahead.
Mena, go ahead.
This leads us into your part of your second question, Gary, that you fed to me. Besides Saliba, and you can answer your own question, Gary, if you want. Besides Saliba, which player on loan comes back? No player isn't allowed for a challenge. Pick another. No player.
Yes.
Oh, you're not allowed to say no player.
Yeah, no, because I kind of feel like we need to have a full squad of players that one will play, and hopefully, I would have liked to have said any of the players that went out loan got the experience that they needed, but so far none have. Because Maitland-Niles is one player I thought, you know what, he would, if he goes out and gets some games and comes back, if we had to, bring in players that we already have, he'd be one. But Maitland-Niles is probably still one I would probably bring because I don't.
I'd
I
say
think if he-
Aaron Mem or
I don't know
Torreira.
why he left in the first place because I don't think he got what he wanted out of it, and Arsenal definitely didn't get what they needed out of it. And they were using him sparingly, but they could have used him during that time when he that first month when he left, right? So that'd be one player for me. I'll let everybody else choose one.
Yep.
But I'll
Stan, I have a feeling. I think I know who Stan might pick. You want to pick one player come back on loan other than Saliba, Stan?
Lucas Torreira, for me. That's probably what you thought, right? There's no one really else. I mean, I don't really know too much about what's happening with what Mavropanos is up to at Stuttgart, but they look like they could be facing relegation, which means that goals have been going past the defence, which he's a part of. Reiss Nelson, I keep forgetting that he even plays for Arsenal, and I see his name pop up, and I'm like, oh yeah, he plays for Arsenal. I've got no idea what's happening with Reiss Nelson. Surely there's got to be a couple of quid in it for us if we can move him on somewhere. But the one player that's out on loan that I always felt that we could have persevered a little bit more with, or Mikel Arteta could have put an arm around because they both speak the same language, is Lucas Torreira.
Yeah.
And even if you think he's not good enough to start every single week, I think he's good enough to be a squad player.
I'd have to echo that, Lucas Torreira, and hopefully it's okay to say echo what Stan has said. Tony, Ainsley Maitland-Niles?
I said either one of them. Really doesn't matter too much. Either one. I like Niles because he can play more positions, but Torreira is kind of that defensive guy.
Who was the other one, Tony, that you said? Was it Lucas Torreira as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Alonso, one Arsenal player on loan that you'd like to see come back, but it can't be William Saliba because he's hopefully nailed on to come back next season.
Yeah, I really
He's not
like
playing a
Ainsley
minute for
Maitland-Niles.
us.
All right, let Alonso speak.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I think that he's kind of versatile. I think that if I were left back, I'd favor him more over Cedric. I think that he plays a good midfield. I think his last match with us, he ran a match, and I think that he should have capitalized on that. instead Arteta, doesn't play him after that, and then he goes out on loan. So, he could have played against Liverpool in the League Cup and the FA Cup as well. When we lost to, I believe it was Nottingham Forest, and I don't know why. I don't know why he got on loan. I don't know why Arteta doesn't favor him that much, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, I think Ray Anderson was talking about where he went on loan. He went to Feyenoord. Reece Nelson did, and he hasn't done that great either at Feyenoord.
One goal so far, as I know.
Yeah,
Wasn't there an issue at the beginning as well where the manager was like saying, "We don't look that fit at all"?
Yeah, he wasn't up to speed.
After 5 minutes.
Reece Nelson, yeah.
I mean, whenever he got loaned out there, I was kind of excited because I have a friend of mine who's from Rotterdam, and he supports Feyenoord, and it'd be kind of cool to see him do well. Reece Nelson at Feyenoord, but unfortunately, it hasn't worked out. So
you know who we're forgetting about is that striker, Balogun. He scored during the week as well, so he should definitely come back as well. But many would say he needs more than the 6 months he's going to get, or 3 months he's going to get here.
He's have to go out on another loan, Ray.
Yeah.
Speaking about that Carabao Cup leads me up to the next one. I swear, Alonso, we did not collaborate, but you led me into this perfectly. The next question, I'll go to Gary first and go clockwise then. Was losing the Carabao Cup semi-final a help to us in the league, Gary? Was it a blessing in disguise to not go to the final? Not be distracted by a final?
No, that's stupid.
That's my question.
Why do you ask Gary stupid questions for?
That's just stupid.
It's not stupid.
Yeah, an opportunity to win a trophy cannot be a negative ever.
If it derailed our quest for
Ever.
It's one game. It's not like we're not playing for.
Ever.
All right, let me ask you this, Gary. Which is more important, the Carabao Cup or top four? Which is more important to you?
Yes, is the answer to that. You can't. What?
You can't.
Yes.
I'm going to use your own rule, and you can't. You have to make it. You have to give it.
What's more important, winning a trophy or finishing top four? You always said winning a trophy is what I remember everybody saying. Winning a trophy.
Not me.
The Carabao Cup or top four Champions League.
Tony was the only weirdo that said that, right? Everybody else said winning a trophy.
Even Tony's dog shocked at the question. Look at him rolling around behind him. He's like, what are you talking about?
You should see him. Look at him.
All right, I'm definitely getting some shade here in the chats. Yeah, being distracted by final. Stefan is having a laugh about that.
And you know what? If you are playing in a game like that, that's going to help you in everything else. And that's what I always say. You got to keep playing.
I told Stan about this. It's coming out Friday, so yes, a few hours from now.
What is that?
Drive to Survive, Formula One. It's the documentary you cannot go without, Gary.
About
if
what?
You like Formula One, that is.
The best part was probably season one.
Left turns.
When season one, Gunter was saying, what did Gunter say? Fucking
wankers. To his drivers.
So Gary, check it out. You'll enjoy it. It's not
cool.
You don't have
Especially
to
after
enjoy
last
Formula
season.
One. You don't have to enjoy Formula One to enjoy it. You know what I mean?
I'll definitely give it a look. See.
So now
it's basically like what do you call it? Like the Arsenal thing that's coming out for us behind the scenes. It's basically that, but they follow behind the scenes at Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, I mean playing extra football cannot be a distraction. Ever.
Sorry, it was a stupid question from the host. Sorry.
Here, you have an opportunity to win the whole point. Like that's almost like saying, "All right, we're in the Champions League now, but we're really challenging to get top four."
That's the sort of Ray. That's the sort of questions they ask on Tottenham podcasts.
Is that where you got this from?
What ain't 1-0?
No, I did not get
it's too
that
much of a
from.
distraction. All that fucking winning shit. Fuck that.
So Stan, you obviously agree with Gary, right? It's not.
Fucking hell, yeah. Oh, we done all that kerfuffle of winning stuff and going to Wembley for finals. Oh, for bollocks to
We
that.
wouldn't-
We might get stuffed the following game at Southampton. Can't have that.
Stan, we wouldn't be in this to win finals. Come on, we're not here to win finals.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't upset our owners. Fucking hell, don't win it. Whatever you do, don't win. You'll upset the owners.
Look, we attracted Gary to the channel because we were having a celebration for winning the FA Cup, and Gary was like, "Okay, this is kind of a nice channel." So
I thought you two were just obsessed over our goalkeeper.
he hung around, and now he's part of the furniture.
What? He hadn't even left yet.
We still need to be patient with Saliba. He'll be brilliant, but it's not going to happen overnight. He still needs time.
You know, you know what? When he comes, that just means we got somebody else challenging for a spot, which means everybody will be on every time they play.
I still don't think he ever plays a competitive minute for us.
That's dumb as well.
Oh, Gary's handing out the dumb awards today.
Yeah, that's another dumb
got the first
thing.
award.
If it happens, we just can't.
I don't get it. Arsenal does it. It ain't my fault. if he
I
doesn't
know
play.
if that happens, that's just stupid. And then, what? They're gonna go out and get another center back? You
They're
got
already
one.
looking for They're already looking for another left-footed center back. So
Alonso, it's okay if I'm the only one that posed the question. Not that I posed the question, but you can definitely disagree with it. Was losing the Carabao semi-final a distraction or a help to us in the league? You can say no. It's okay.
Well, I mean, first of all, we didn't have the right depth to even compete in that semifinal. I think Liverpool were clearly the better team going in. I think those red cards to Partey and Xhaka hurt us. So yeah, our midfield wasn't that great anyway, and so in reality, Ray, it would been tough to beat Liverpool. The way they've been playing lately as well. I think top four was more important at the time. But of course, any time we're in a final is also important too because we need to get into Europe, and so that could have been the easier route. But it is what it is. The final would have been good, but look at the tough road we had to go through. But yeah, top four should have been in our sights to begin with, even when the season started. So, to get to where we got to in the League Cup was kind of surprising, given the fact the squad we had. But yeah, top four should be a realistic goal for us. That's my opinion.
Thanks.
What is going on in the chat?
There's always a subplot in the chat, and I'm not
something about a bloody mattress. I don't know what's going on.
I'm filtering through and letting that be its own thing over.
See what happens? You bring Brownie in. You bring Brownie in, and then the chat just.
I'm actually with Stefan. If they'd done it all on for a season, following Brownie around, I'd watch that shit.
I want it to be interactive so I can have him do stuff.
No, you don't want that.
You put a dollar in and he does something silly. I mean, come on.
Interactive. That's too much, Gary.
You'd have to have Sam go along with him. Sam and Brownie unplugged.
Brownie 24/7 Brownie. That's what you want. 24/7 Brownie.
Like you don't want Sam and Brownie 24/7? I think you need a pair of them.
I don't think the world is ready for that.
Can I say something? Brownie's done videos of him sleeping through the whole night and a camera. Seriously, he's done videos of him asleep. And me and my missus watched it for about 10 minutes.
Then did you have a kebab afterwards?
Tony, losing the semi-final, was that a help to us in the league?
How the hell is one game? We're not going to play one game.
Why are you still asking that question after I answered it and basically shut it down? You don't really have.
Why are we still on this, Ray?
We'll move on. Absolutely.
Please.
Not
Nightmares
every
with
not
brownies.
every question I
You
pose
just
has to
wasted
be
like
yes.
what 5-6 minutes of this show.
He wasted 10 fucking minutes on it. Not
I was
5.
being nice. I was being nice, Tony. Come on.
All
And
right.
those videos
Anyway,
of him sleeping are probably the best content on his channel, to be fair. But
You know what? Let's get that. Brownie, send us the tape.
seriously, a whole night's sleep. It's not just like, it's a whole fucking night.
And we can do like commentary on it. I think he just sneezed there.
Nightmares with Brownie.
I think he's thinking of what is he thinking of?
How many times is this brownie farting asleep?
right.
We
So
have a counter and everything.
it's always sunny in Cardiff or whatever city he's in at the time, or whatever plane he's getting.
Dubai. He's in Dubai now. It's always sunny in Dubai.
You better be afraid if Tony knows where you are at all times. You better be really afraid. Okay,
And he has a Russian coming to him. So
we
So
will finish.
Brownie, are you gonna do a side show? Because if the missus is coming,
Yeah, the amount
then
of fucking Russians Brownie's gone through, I'm surprised he's not been sanctioned. Fucking hell.
he went from a Ukrainian to a Russian. Or he went from a
is
Russian
that
to a
actually
Ukrainian
allowed?
back to
That can't
a
be allowed.
Ukrainian.
Stan, he was being sanctioned before there was even sanctions.
There's a reason that war started.
Yeah, it started
Right.
off with a Cold War and got very hot. All
We're
right,
going to have to keep
Thank-
Brownie away from the Baltic states.
I'll take the last question for 500. This one's from Gary because no one else submitted any questions other than me. My ones that get ridiculed, I get ridiculed for. Or
I got
Gary's.
plenty, Ray.
Huh?
Said I got plenty.
All right. Yeah, you haven't heard you. Go.
I already had one. What do you mean?
All right.
I had
a couple.
Lacazette. I had when you re-signed Lacazette.
I've got a question. Is Tony sane?
No.
All right, here's Gary's final question. Does Arsenal have to go outside the Premier League to get players this summer? Pick a striker, one or two, a midfielder, a right back, and the centre back on the left from the Premier League.
Yes, we
Yeah,
have to
right.
go out of a Premier League.
So we have to. So we can't do it all by not leaving the island, huh?
Ireland.
Ireland or England?
The island.
I can pick three. I can pick players from those positions.
Go ahead, do it.
Go.
I'd go with Gabriel Jesus from Manchester City as the striker.
Mm-hmm.
I would go with Declan Rice as a midfielder from West Ham. And I would go with Tarek Lamptey as the right back.
Okay. Yeah. Spence.
Expensive though. That's a lot of dough, but
Yeah.
What
but
about
not
your
only
left?
expensive.
What about your left
Spence.
center back?
sorry.
Left center back.
Saliba is coming in, right? We already got that covered.
Yeah, but we're looking for one. We're supposedly looking for a left-footed center back.
Okay, I'll come back to that one.
Yeah. Spence from Nottingham Forest. He played really well against us, and I think since then, and I really do hope Nottingham Forest progress against Liverpool. I'd like to tamp down Liverpool's momentum a little bit. They're starting to get a little bit uppity over there. Anything else, Gary?
No, I mean
Riker, Patrick Schick, or Jonathan David. These are names you have not you have heard.
They don't play in the Premier League.
What?
You gave us the caveat that they had to already be playing in the league, right?
Yeah, I mean,
In the
I
Premier League.
don't think we need to go outside, and I think we can get. I mean, who do we really need to go outside? Is the question? Like, can't we just get what we need right here, right there in the league or level?
I don't know
below?
if we got a clinical enough striker in we can go for.
No, Arsenal should be rating other English teams, weaken them, strengthen us, and they'll all want to join as well. I mean, last summer we got Erdegaard came back. We signed them permanently. Tavares came in, and
Because Nieves, you can go get Nieves, right? He's a
Neves, yeah.
Neves.
Ben White came from within,
Mhm.
didn't he?
Ramsdale.
Ramsdale as well, yeah.
I mean, there's players that we got that weren't even looking to leave, right? If they can spend 50 on Ben White, then they can spend whatever they need to on any of the plays that you chose there,
Yeah.
because they would all be they're all worth a lot more than Ben White.
I think
to us
Declan
right
Rice
now.
would be the most expensive, right? With that English premium tax in there, probably.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be
I-
nice to have? Wouldn't it be nice to have him there, and Partey not have to deal with all that stuff?
For sure.
How about Ivan Tony?
Decore from Watford. Good shout.
thanks,
Good
guys.
shout. Sarr
Mm.
too from Watford. And this is a team that's going to go down. Watford nailed on to go down. Norwich City nailed on to go down. And
Alonso, did you say Ivan Toney?
Yeah.
Nah, man, he's got a man bun.
there you go, Richarlison and Allen.
How about the guy from Everton? What's his name?
DCL. Dominic
Yeah.
Calvert-Lewin.
Never knows.
Big dunk.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to see him come
Yeah,
back and
he's
actually play like consistently for a little bit. You know, if we can't do that, then nah.
Would you want any players from clubs who will be relegated?
We should have did that last year.
Yes,
not
yeah, we
this
should.
year.
Yeah, definitely should have done that last year and the year before.
Dennis,
The last 2 years, we could have picked players that went down.
that Dennis player was
Norwich
pretty
went
good as
down.
well.
We didn't pick any of those players.
I think we did better. I remember talking about that last year, and we were looking at some teams that went down, and names like Todd Cantwell came up from Norwich.
Mhm.
Well, Todd Cantwell and Martin Odegaard, it's no brainer, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
we actually shot at a higher level than I think we were setting our sights on for some of us.
Yep. So listen, I don't know if you like this topic, ask the viewers or not, but we did it and we got through it. But it's not all about just getting through it. It's about enjoying it as well. I thought we had some fun with it.
What about who should we sign first? A striker or a midfielder?
Midfielder. I want happiness. I'm not going to get happiness until we get that midfielder that's going to start next to Partey.
Partey.
Well,
Do we need one that starts next to Partey?
Yes, we do.
first of all, do you think there's any chance that next season we start next season and Granit Xhaka is still in that role?
That's why I want a partner for Partey.
That's the thing that worries me, man.
A partner Partey. Before we
He's
get
going to be
into
part of the
Leicester,
senior leadership stand.
going to preview the Leicester game, then we're going to get into the Premier League a little bit. But
Ray, come on, that's out of order. You put fucking Brandy's fucking home address up on the screen again, man. It's not good.
this is a
Brownies,
place in
home
Cardiff.
address.
No, it's not. It's not a place in Wales. Stan, I'll go to you first. We're coming close to the end of the second stanza that you've been talking
The wrong
about.
alphabet now stand for
We
his
pretty much
address.
agreed on this time frame. The second block, Stan, up to 26 games, and
That's right.
Sunday will be a 26th game in the league. Now we've had some rescheduled games. We
Yeah.
thought this would happen in February. We'd get to 26 games, but
Tell bitch of a Ford table, Ray.
well, no, we're not going to mention the form table because it just goes
You
down
just
the hill.
said
from
it.
there.
The
Stan, if
easiest
you-
way for me to answer what you're saying there is, we both were on a similar timeline, weren't we?
Yeah.
You and I, about, grading Mikel Arteta as our manager. And we both said that we wanted to get through the transfer window, see what comes in, and see how we go for a little while once we know what we're left with.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, you asked me, and I said that I thought that we're overachieving. So that kind of answers your question of where I think, I'm glad that we're overachieving. So I'm very happy with what's going on at the moment. And you only have to look at the interviews with Martin Odegaard talking about there's something happening here, the way that they all are as a team, that they're all in this together. They go out to dinner sometimes as groups. There really is, no one's just turning up for work and doing their own thing and going home. They're all in this together, and there was a great example of that where I can't remember what the match was, but there was, it was the match where Gabriel was running back. I think it was a Wolves game, following his marker, ran across the penalty area, and the ball came in. And he kind of took a step and kicked it back to Ramsey, but the Wolves player nipped in and got the ball.
Yeah.
There was a bit of
The goal.
miscommunication.
Yep.
If you see after that, Ramsey kind of jogs out and he goes over to Gabriel, and they share a few words. There's a pat on each other's bum or each other's shoulder, whatever, and then they moved on. There was no it's your fucking fault. That's your fucking fault. Come on in, they both sort of like had a chat, both took culpable responsibility for it, and moved on as a unit. And you're seeing a lot of that. It's been a while since I've seen the team looking that. We've got 6 players that look all right, but then there's another 4 or 5 that seem to be a little click over here, doing their own thing. It seems to be like, little clicks and that. It all seems to be that everybody's on the same page. And as hard as the decision was, I think that the decision to move Aubameyang out was the final piece in getting that harmony. Alexander Lacazette has brought into it. I still think he needs to go in the summer, as we discussed earlier, but there is a harmony in the team, and it's a team sport. It's not 10 people plus your star player who does all of the work and gets you out of jail every week. Everybody seems to be playing their part, and that's good to see.
Yeah. Tony, as Stan mentioned there, last time Stan mentioned the defender given out to a goalkeeper was Mustafi and Leno for Crystal Palace at home many years ago under Unai Emery. We don't see that now. We see mainly the influence, I think, of Ramsdale and the influence he's had on his 4 defenders in front of him as well.
Yeah, he's been great this season, except for the last 3 games. It's kind of nice to see all the fans with egg on their face saying, "Oh, don't get him. He's going to be shit, or he costs too much money."
Yeah.
He's changed with team. He's waxed. To me, Leno's only quality Leno lacks is being vocal and leading the troops. He's great at that. He's great at pumping up the fans. That's nice. I just hope he doesn't get a little too cocky. I worry about that. But other than that, he's got the stopping ability, gets the players where they need to be, always yelling at them, always communicating. Can't really ask more for a goalkeeper. I don't know. I think you'd have to say he's probably been our best signing up until Odegaard started hitting his form finally the last couple of months.
Yeah.
But the season as a whole, you'd have to give it to Ramsdale.
Yeah, and that's we'd probably have that discussion toward the end of the season. That's going to be a tough one to discuss which player of the whole team, maybe of the 6 players that came in last season, which player has been our most consistent, our best player throughout the season. I mean, Saka would be up there in terms of consistency as well.
Yeah, but you said of a new 6. Saka's
Yeah, I know,
home.
but I also said of the team as a whole as well.
Oh,
we can do.
I didn't
we
hear
can
that
break
part,
it.
right?
We can break it down so there's no confusion. We could do 2 categories so I don't get ridiculed for it. Gary, I think Stan said we've been overachieving a little bit, but when you look at the L's there, we didn't deserve some of those L's this season.
Well, deserve and not deserve, I guess, is I don't know. Maybe we did. Maybe we deserved those L's. I mean, I think those L's at the beginning of the season are just because we just did not. We planned like nothing.
That was preseason, Gary. We didn't have losses at the beginning of the season.
That too,
My-
but nah.
My fingers hovering.
The way we wanted to play shouldn't matter what players are out. I've been saying that all along. We didn't lose. We lost it because we just weren't prepared to play with all 25 players on the squad. And as the January window has shown, we don't have 25 players that Arteta wants to play, can play because he feels confident with them. So until we do that, we're going to have those types of issues. That's those first 3 games. The 2 that are, there's 3 more games after that. The United, Everton, and that Burnley game where we dropped points. Those were critical ones, and they didn't hurt us in the long term in terms of us stopping a run, but those are wins that we had leads in both games.
Mm-hmm.
We had
Yeah.
leads in both games, and we let teams back in. So we need to redeem ourselves. And so far, we've been able to redeem ourselves with every team, but those in the top 3. So we need to try and do that. But yeah. No,
Those 2 defeats, away to United and away to Everton, were big tests for us, and we didn't pass those tests. And a lot of that, not making excuses, but the atmosphere around all of that was when Aubameyang was probably in the midst of being disciplined as well.
We had opportunities to win both games, regardless of what was going on with Aubameyang. I mean,
Everton,
we should at least
in a
have
way.
drawn with United, right? We had opportunities to
Yeah.
get ahead in that game, and we didn't do that. The Everton game was just for me a little bit of a collapse there, but
If we don't get top four, we're always going to look back where we drop points, and Everton will be one of those prime positions that we'll all land on. We should have picked up 3 points that night, you know.
See, here's the thing that worries me.
And Manchester United.
It doesn't worry me, but I think we're overachieving, and I like what I'm seeing. But I did say that if we don't make any Europe, and I said, Europa League has to be the minimum. If we fail to be in Europe competition in 2023, I was just thinking to myself, would I still say that Arteta would have to go? I mean, it's a tough one because I like what I'm seeing at the moment, and I like the squad that's being put together. But how long do you reward someone for failure?
Yeah.
Not getting into Europe in any shape or form, and I'm not talking about that thing that's below the Europa Conference. I'm not counting that. We don't need that. That's just a headache, right?
Yeah.
That's a participation event, sort of thing. If we don't get into Europe proper, I don't know what you guys think, because I like what I'm seeing, and I can see the improvement, and I do see them responding to the manager.
Yep.
And the manager is beginning to turn me around. As I say, I was 50-50 when he walked in the door. But I think that it's imperative that we get into Europe. What do you guys feel? If we don't get into Europe, do you think that we should still continue with him? Because this squad's not been built, and but if we don't get into Europe, come the summer when we've got all these bags of money that I've been reading about, maybe we do have to go to the league, the Todd
No. Stan, if we don't get into Europe this season, like Europa League, forget about the Conference League. That'll mean we'll have slid in such a catastrophic way. There's no way I believe you should stay at the club.
And we'll have all the money to get whoever we want, but they won't want to come because they want to be at the big table. Yeah. So we spend the money on middling players that might not help us.
And we still have a fantastic chance. The percentages for us getting into the top four is something like 64, 65%. As long as we keep plodding along one game at a time. And I know we played a game of how many points will we get in these 3 games, but really it's one game at a time. Alonso, we didn't go to you yet. What's your thoughts on everything like that? And I'm just going to drop out for a second, be right back.
Yeah, I think that if he doesn't get us in top 4 or doesn't get the club into top 4, there's a reason why that we should extend him, or the club should extend his contract with us, because he now has his own team, or at least he has his own direction on where he wants the team to go, which hopefully is up, right? I think last year when we won the FA Cup last summer, I think that there should have been more goals, and I think that he flew around too much the lineup, in which we should have done better. I think that he picked the wrong lineup in games, especially against the semifinal and Europa Cup. We could have won that tournament had he used his team properly, but that's in the past now. I think the top 4 is his to lose, and I think there's a shot that we could catch Chelsea as well if we play our cards right. And I think that there's going to be some times in which he's going to dig deep with his formations and his lineups here and there, with players coming in and out of the lineup. But there's got to be faith there as well for him to succeed. So, I think that his top 4 lose, and if he loses it, then we got to do it in a different direction.
What do you reckon, Gary? If we don't get into Europe, Europa League minimum, Does Arteta have to go? And I'd like to know what you guys in the chat box think. Just put in or out. In or out. Arteta if we don't make Europe.
Yeah, if he doesn't make Europe, then he needs to go, because we're going to need to overachieve with our management. And he's right, Arteta. He is getting what he wants out of his squad because he has his squad. We're going to need someone who can take all 25 players and get more out of them. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like he doesn't have right now in his toolbox, because he's a young manager, and it's just, I don't think we can wait around for that, because eventually it's going to hurt us with the Sakas, the Emil Smith-Rowes, and the Martinellis, whether they want to stay around for this build, right? It's going to take some time. So I kind of feel like, yeah, I mean, he should have pressure on him, and that's the fact that we did nothing in the January window is kind of disappointing.
Yes.
What more do you? We had an open. We
Hang on, you forgot about Austin Trusty.
Yeah, come on.
Come on, man.
No. You if you look at where we are and what we needed, and and then you're like, okay, you look at the table and you look at the teams that are challenging for top four, and you're like, man, we have a chance. All right.
Yeah.
We did nothing. Nothing.
Nada.
To say, you know what? Let's add this up the odds in our favor. Give me something.
Instead, we weakened the team by the players we got rid of.
I mean, even that team brought in that another Dusan, right? That guy's Dusan, isn't he?
Kolasevich.
Yeah, but is his first name like Dusan?
Sounds like Kolasevich.
But you know what? But that guy looks pretty good. We could deal with somebody like that. You know what I mean? So I know the money and the cost is a problem, but I don't think he looks like a bad deal. But yeah, he should have pressure on him, and he should be taking all this time between games to do a good job. So we should come into the Leicester City match, and it should look to me the same way that West Ham game looked. Like we went into it, we thought we are going to struggle. Next thing you know, we're running away with it, and West Ham got nothing. Right? That's what we want. It needs to seem like that. I know there might be some issues with the way West Ham was set up at that point, but I don't care. But it needs to feel like that, where we're going to have a big game in our hands. We come in, we hit them in the mouth, and they don't even have a chance. So, yeah, he should have pressure on him. Our players have pressure on them, so why not our manager? Right?
He's going to get it sounds like he's getting a contract renewal before the end of the season, before all of the dominoes have fallen. So, I mean...
Dijon, that's what his name is, Dijon, not Duzon. But yeah, no, that part I don't get. I don't get that at all. So he has no incentive to do better because he knows it's coming, right? Here you go. Here's your raise. But I haven't even finished the quarter yet. It's all right. It's all right. You did good for the first.
His contract.
Half.
His contract should be
like that. Bloody hell, that'd be brilliant, right?
Yeah, his contract should be talked about in the summertime for sure.
Yeah.
I just think Stefan so far has made the best comment. Jojo was a man from Doosan, Arizona. Yeah, love it. It is Doosan.
Doosan, Arizona. Yeah.
Deja is the guy from that team picked up. He actually looks pretty good to me. But there were lots of names of players in the Premier League that we could pick up. Players to me that are.
I thought you were going to say, Gary, there's a lot of names in the Premier League that I can't pronounce.
There are.
I heard it.
But I was gonna say there are a lot of players in the Premier League that, you know how we always talked about how Tierney is that rough and tumble kind of player. There's a lot of those types of players that we need, right? Those guys that when you step to them, they just basically stand there and you ran into them and you fall down and they just giggle and then run off. We need that along with because we got the finesse down, no problem. We got the finesse.
That's the kind of player we need.
We need somebody who's going to get bloody,
Definitely.
And bloody people as well.
Gary and I don't often. Well, maybe we don't often agree, but maybe we talk the same language, but in different ways.
And it seems like most people in the chat box are saying
You
that
say
they
Arteta.
keep him
Gary
in,
says
that they would
Arteta.
keep Arteta in. From what I've seen, those that have answered have said
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
What about you, Ray? You didn't say.
What about Arteta?
Me?
Arteta
Yeah,
in?
you didn't say. If we don't get into Europe in any,
I said before I left.
He said he needs to go if we don't
He
get
needs
top
to go.
6.
He needs to go. If we finish outside of a Europa League spot, then we would have slidden so badly that I feel like it's untenable.
I
But
don't see how we could slip
because
that
it then
far.
takes another
I don't
season for
see it
him
either.
to win you over, right? You've got to wait to get to the end of the next season to see whether you've reached that goal again.
But we've looked at this now, Stan. We looked at 2 blocks, the first 12, 11 games, and then up to now 26 games. And we're both happy with those blocks of games.
Very much.
We're all pretty much happy with it. You're looking at the L's and you're thinking, well, a couple of those could have been draws. You know, it could have been a win here and there. But some we deserved. We got planked by Liverpool 4-0 up there. Chelsea and City, two of the first 3 games of the season, were not good. So listen, we're going to get into it. Leicester City. Gary, what do you want to see on Sunday, Leicester City?
Yeah, I guess I've heard that the fact that Vardy is injured is a negative for us because they actually play better without him. So I you know what, I
I'd
don't
rather
care.
have him in the team. Yeah, I'd rather have him in the team.
I don't care.
Really?
I think we're a better
Mhm.
squad anyway, so it shouldn't really matter who plays. I know Vardy on this squad, he's got that mental edge on us sometimes, but
Why do you say that? I'm Gary and Ray. You say that you'd rather not have. Who would you rather them? What you'd think that they're more dangerous with?
I think there's more
Nacho?
dangerous players that they've been bringing through now.
Yeah,
that,
Nacho, because that's the alternative usually, isn't it?
Harvey Barnes is
Harvey
good.
Barnes.
yeah, I think
Austin Barker.
without Vardy, Harvey Barnes has been a little bit more of a danger now.
Yep.
So,
Interesting.
but you know, like so our defense in the last game was poor, right? Hopefully they redeem themselves, because if they do, it won't matter who Leicester has, right? Our offense has looked good, and as long as we can keep that going, and you know, maybe we have to rotate that to keep it fresh a little bit, fresh and new. You know, I think Emil Smith-Rowe
You'll start
practiced,
Eddie.
I think, right? What'd you say?
I said, what,
Stan?
start Eddie.
Alrighty, yeah.
There's nothing to freshen up. There's nothing. They ain't got nothing. Yeah, we've got Eddie and Pepe, and then kids.
No, but Emil Smith-Rowe might. If Emil
Yeah.
Why
Smith-Rowe
not,
gets
yeah.
healthy, I think he might have practiced. If I recall, I think I might have heard something
That'd be
like he
good
might
news.
have. So if he can practice and he's ready to play, I just feel like we
Tomiyasu.
just need to rotate things around. Tomiyasu, no word on him, right? So,
Worried,
I
yeah.
think Pepe needs to start in one of these 3 games. You know, does he start against Liverpool? I don't think that makes any sense, right?
Who would you take out? You're changing it up a winning foot. Who would you take out?
No,
for
but
Pepe?
you got to rotate 3 games in 6 days.
Oh, in
right?
6 days, of course, yeah.
So which-
Yeah, we got a Sunday, we got a Wednesday, we got a Saturday.
So which
You
game
know?
do you do? Do you want him? Do you want to? I would rather. It's just crazy, right? I think we can win Leicester if we rotate, but I
And
think
what's the
also
fixture after that then? Who's after
it's
that?
Liverpool.
It's Liverpool. So do I want to play Liverpool
Home.
with our best players so that we can
Yeah,
we can see where we stand, or
yeah.
do I want to just beat Leicester and then get blown away by Liverpool and then try to redeem ourselves against Villa? I don't like that either. I kind of feel like we want to go into each game thinking we can win.
It's a tough one because you want to face that Liverpool game on its own merits, but we really can't because it's
How many
right in
games
the middle.
how many minutes can Lacazette play in 3 games in that period of time? Even if he's fit, but physically.
No.
25 minutes each.
This is
No.
scary
He's-
times.
He used to go off at 65 minutes all the time, so it's crazy seeing him play 90.
And you know he.
Crazy.
I mean,
We're in trouble.
Yeah,
we,
that's the
The
thing.
more I think about it, I didn't realize we had 3 games. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, you know, do you
So-
bring Martinelli, let him play up top, and then if things get crazy in the Leicester game, you bring a Lacazette in for like the last 30, 40 minutes so that you can finish off the game. You know what I mean? Because it'll look similar to what we saw maybe in that first game of the season
Why can't you
where
put Pepe
where
up
Balogun
front?
struggled. He doesn't want. I want Pepe to play on the field in general, and he won't
Is he
even
that
play him.
adventurous though, Mikel?
you know?
Is he that? We're talking about we could do that. We could put him there. And if it does, Mikel think like that, or is he really just pragmatic?
I think he's pragmatic, and I think the way the games are set out, we've got 2 home games. I'd like him just to approach win on Sunday, give it our best shot with maybe the same team with some rotation on Wednesday, and whatever happens on Saturday happens. Away
What
from
you mean?
home.
Play a slightly weaker team against Liverpool, knowing that maybe.
No,
we
I
won't
would
get
go.
any
I would
points?
go pretty full in both those games and put whatever.
I mean, every
else
team,
out.
every team is playing the same way, right? Every team's playing with 2 or 3 days rest, right?
Yep.
We're not the only team, so by Sunday the games will probably be a little bit ugly, right?
Lots of teams played today.
Unless you're
Other teams
City or
got more
Liverpool.
depth.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Liverpool and City are pretty deep, right? So,
Yep.
no matter who they put out, you kind of like go, damn.
And
Yeah, they're like,
yeah,
do we play Firmino or should we play Jota? That's their choices. That's where they live. Do you know what I mean? That's a different world to us.
BX called for Harvey Barnes ages ago. Large up BX gonna what up?
And you know what's funny? Harvey Barnes, I think, came up as like, we need to bring in some players, and his name was, I think, one of the names, not a big name, but a name that was brought up.
Yeah.
What position does he play?
Left side. I think he's left
Winger. Is
left
he a
winger. Yeah. 3 points or 3 points. The next 2 matches are home games, so I personally would prioritize winning against Leicester and
Yes.
trying to beat Liverpool at home without too much rotation, and then we're going to be really tired away from home and probably lose that game.
If you want 3 points, Leicester's the one where if you're going to put money down to bet, I'd take out my wallet and put money down. That's where the 3 points are. And then on against Liverpool, you just basically go out there and do the best that you can. You give them a good showing. You may, if you're lucky, you may nick a draw. Who knows?
Nick a draw, and that would really hurt.
Go into that mindset that we went into with those first 3 games of the season, where we're like, well, we expect to get nothing, because when that conversation happens, you don't get nothing.
Yeah.
No, we definitely need to expect to win all 3 games with whoever we put out, meaning it has to be perfect, and that's the way this season has to go anyways. The only way we get in top 4 is if the rest of this season goes perfectly for us, right? So far, we've had injuries and illness, and we still got wins. Now, we're playing like everybody else, 3 games in 7 or 6 days, depending on how lucky you get. We need to steal some points from others that people don't expect us to, right? It'd be really nice to get a point against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're playing at home. We're gonna have the crowd behind us,
And that's why I think we make the Leicester City as easy as we can for us. Maybe we win 2-0, and it's an easy. We never do it that way.
Leicester.
Two home games. We're playing at home on
Okay.
Sunday, and we're playing at home on Wednesday, and then we get Aston Villa and Palace 2 away games. So that's going to be tough in itself. So we got 2 home games. We got to maximize the amount of points we get, and Gary and I have said we've been realistic. I think we said recently 4 points from 9 is being realistic, but I think it's a great sign when lots of fans are saying not the less than 6 or 7 points for those 3 games. I think that's a sign of how far we've come as well. Tony?
Yeah, on Monday, Lola was adamant that we needed 7. I thought we needed at least 6.
6 would be nice.
That's a sign of your confidence in the team, Tony.
Yeah.
And you're not wrong, and Gary and I are not wrong for saying 4 points. because we're trying to be maybe a little
Where's
bit more
optimistic Ray at? Where's,
pragmatic and realistic.
where's this, where's this hell and brimstone Ray come from?
I'm
Yeah.
optimistic.
Mr. Sunshine, where'd you go?
I'm a realistic optimist.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I the problem I have is that Liverpool game right in the middle of
You're
this.
either a realist or you're an optimist. You
I'd
can't
rather
be
have
both,
Liverpool
Ray.
at the beginning or end of this stretch of games because it'd be nice to put everything into it. Whereas this could, depending on how we come out and play, and we've been mentally strong, right? If every time we've lost to one of these big teams, we've lost the next game or struggled in the next game. And we can't do that anymore. So it needs to change. So that's why I was tempted to rotate for this Leicester game, go into the Liverpool game strong so that we can show, look, we can play with these guys. We've shown that we can, right? We played them twice in like a week, in like 2 weeks, right? We did play them strong.
Liverpool, yes.
Yeah, we played them strong,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, we lost 2-0, but that was, by that, game we weren't going to beat them.
Part of the reason we lost the goal because Tomiyasu was rushed back from being injured, and we are taking our time with Tomiyasu now. That may have its own detriment with Cedric in the next coming days.
Well, that's why you have Ben White, and as Stan says, he's got Holding there.
Yep.
Maybe you have to do that rotation there, right? You put Ben White outside, and you bring Holding in, and say, you know what, Cedric, I don't want to push it. I don't want to push it. I don't want to. Well, I don't want to push it. That just means we'll be more defensive. That's all it means, all right? But we do, and then you bring Martinelli and let him go crazy, all right?
These periods when you've got so many, 3 games in such a quick space of time, are these the games where you should be then maybe looking to, give Tavares minutes and Bambi Lukonga minutes as well? That's what they're supposed to be there for, right? To shore up the slack.
That's why I'd almost go with a back 3 play.
It's almost going to. This is going to be a real testament.
Kieran Tierney's going to need rest, right? Kieran Tierney looks like the sort of player that is not going to be able to play 90 minutes for them 3 games.
Wanted Tierney to get a rest if you played him as left center back instead of left.
With that being said, Tavares would probably come in against Leicester.
Yeah, and if Xhaka is playing so high up the pitch, then Sambi playing up the pitch would be nice as well, because guess what? He's been shaky in the middle of the pitch as well when he's played there, and if you can push him up further, any mistakes that he have are further away from the goal. Right?
Can I just challenge what Ray said as well about, would you bring in Tavares in for the Leicester game? You said or the Liverpool game.
Because you said you
want better players in the game where you got the better chance of getting the 3 points than making yourself slightly weaker in that game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that undoes you a little bit, and then you get a draw, and then you go to Liverpool and you lose 2-1 anyway.
I think lately that Arteta's been playing around with the balance. So we talked about Granit Xhaka, putting him further up the field so he doesn't have any mishaps covering for Tierney at the back. And I think that Arteta's playing around with the balance of midfield. And I've been thinking about what Tony's saying. 3rd best defense against 5th best so far this season, Tony, and 3rd last season. I think that's just a consequence of playing around with the midfield balance and trying to get a little bit more going forward, score a few more goals. Now we're leaking some goals at the back because of that.
I didn't know we dropped a little bit there in the defense. That's interesting.
So, last year we finished 3rd overall in terms of goals conceded. This year so far,
right now.
But you know what? But our offense looks better, doesn't
Correct.
it?
Yep.
And so it doesn't matter. For me, it's like a wash almost. We need to be able to score more. Our defense has been suspect, especially in the last game. That's not that we can actually look at that defense and go, that's not our defense, right? The way that those goals were scored, that's not usually happening.
You can say that the last 3 games, really.
Yeah, when we're playing pretty well defensively, it hasn't really hurt us, right? Because we won all 3 of those games. So we can do that because our offense is much better. So in the games where the defense is really good, we should win, right? We should win.
Yeah.
So.
And one of those goals we conceded in the final few minutes was a sloppy goal, and some will say the first goal, while it was preventable, it was also a good goal that you have to hold your hand up sometime and say,
Yeah, I see some people saying having 3 games in 6 days will be good for us to get a rhythm.
yeah.
I mean, it
We,
should,
we
but I just don't
haven't
know.
had that rhythm so far, though, and it's been
Yeah,
an issue. You know what I mean?
It's crazy how City and
We'll
Liverpool
see
have a
what.
50 and 51 goal differential.
I think those 3 days are going to show us what this team, including the manager, is made of.
Correct. And how he thinks as well, Stan.
Yeah.
How he's going to think with these 3 games. Is last year a little bit weaker, that I can go a little bit weak with my team? Maybe even Eddie on Sunday. We see Eddie on Sunday starting. And
See, this is the
saving-
thing that I want to challenge you there again, because what I'm thinking is, if you're looking at your next 2 games, where would you say there's more likely to get 3 points? Is Leicester. So why would you weaken yourself and tinker there?
Yeah.
And then you go to Liverpool and not get anything anyway. I would be going all out for 3 points at Leicester.
Yeah.
See how fit everybody is after that when we get to Liverpool, and then address it accordingly. And
Yeah,
I
if
think
we-
I agree with that.
if we come out strong, like Stan said, against Leicester City, it shouldn't be an issue. Players should be coming off easily with 30 minutes to go in that game. That's the way that Arteta has to come into this game. Look,
Yeah.
you're going to give me everything for 60 minutes because I don't want you to play in a 61st minute, okay? That's how bad he wants to win this game early and be done with it, move on to the next one, and rest his players up for the Liverpool game.
I think the ideal scenario, and I'll go to Alonso because he hasn't spoken for a little while. The ideal scenario on Sunday, we go 2-0 up after 60, 65 minutes, and you start rotating, you're resting some players. Alonso, what's your thoughts in the next 3 games? We got Leicester on Sunday at home, we got Liverpool at home on Wednesday, and then we got a tough trip to Aston Villa on Saturday. 6 days.
Well, I think they're all playing. I think they're all games that we should be worried about. I think that Leicester always gives us a hard time, no matter what the score is. I think that people, when they say Vardy's out, it still brings us trouble. I think Vardy's a good player. Don't get me wrong, but whenever they say a fitness boost, it's almost like, okay, now they're going to give it to us, right? I think that with Leicester being played on Sunday, and I think that Liverpool being played on Wednesday, I think you should treat Liverpool as a Champions League game, because it is a tough game, right? And it is against Liverpool rivals. So I think if I were Arteta, I'd rotate the Leicester game because they're not as strong as Liverpool, and just have Liverpool be the game that we play all of our best players in. And you really go like that. I think
a great point there for Liverpool that you're making there. I'll come back to that in just a second. Arsenal were suspect at the back, but have tightened up big time. Why not said, Stan, we are 10 goals away from total conceded last season, still to play LFC, CFC, MUFC, and the North London Derby. And I think why not? That's just a consequence of us tinkering around with midfield, trying to score more goals. We've become a little bit more suspect at the back. Tony, here's a great point that Alonso alluded to, and BX is on as well. Liverpool will be a game to see if our discipline has improved. A red card there would kill our momentum. And Liverpool, they are a team that they play, 11 players play as one. They all know their job, Tony. They know what they're doing. And Liverpool have just a little more game experience than we do.
Yeah, that's why I build a stronger side, not have some of the squad depth players come in, just keep on playing them, see if they're tired, if they need a rest, and give them a rest. I won't try to weaken the squad too much, because if you do that, then somebody grabbing a shirt when they shouldn't, or something like that, and first getting a red card or 2 yellows.
Stefan said Leicester game is a 6-pointer, and it's going to be very important on Sunday as well, Tony, because that team, as Gary likes to mention them, that team will be playing Manchester United, and somebody, or maybe both teams, are going to drop some points. So it's vitally important for us to, as I said, Arsenal run last Thursday.
How great would that game be a draw? Spurs and
Very likely.
United
Very
a
likely
draw.
to be a draw.
Yeah,
Gary,
man.
Gary, that Liverpool game is going to test our discipline, as BX said. And, Tottenham play, or that team play United, they could drop points. It's vitally important we get 3 on Sunday.
No, definitely. And I guess, you know what, now rethinking what everybody's saying, initially I thought we'd rotate for the Leicester game, but we probably rotate for the Villa game.
I'd rather personally get those points and get that
Yeah.
gap ahead of our rivals,
Yeah.
knowing that they've got tough games ahead. And then going to Villa, and we know it's going to be tough up at Villa.
Yeah. Well, you know, every game's going to be tough. So
Yeah.
we hear that a lot. I mean, this game's going to be tough on the road. They're all going to be tough on the road. So we went to Wolves and we shut them up. We won. We stole points. So who cares?
Yeah.
I'll take it. So yeah, and you know what? Start this 3-game run with a win, and then let's see where we go from there. Like you said, if Tomiyasu looks good and ready to go for the Villa game, that would be nice. Smith-Rowe, if he's ready to go, he'll probably play against Liverpool, and maybe we'll surprise them when if he's available. If Lacazette can't go for Liverpool, all right, well, Martinelli, there you go, or Pepe, whatever you want to do. Then you just do it, and
Get the point.
or even Nketiah has shown, right, he's going to run at the defense, right? As much as
He looked bright on Sunday. He hit the upright, right?
He's used to little goals. He's used to hitting it.
I thought he was gonna go-
you want him
I
to,
thought Tony was
but he's taking his opportunities and getting close. So this is where the rotation comes in, because we need to have that, right? And we don't have it right now. Right now we can't just say, all right, we're going to bring this player in, and we know what they're going to do because they've done it like before. And right now, we haven't seen Pepe come in and do stuff regularly. We haven't, enough for me to say, you know what? He's not. Remember, he's not Jota, but he's our Jota, right?
I just think that I don't think there's a manager in the league, right, who the day they know they're coming up to play Arsenal. They set out what they're going to do against us, and then just before kickoff, they see the lineups and they see Eddie starting. And they go, "Oh my god, I've got to change everything. I didn't know they were going to pull that out of the bag." And they got, I don't think it's a second thought.
So, Stan, I think like Arteta and his coaches, we just figured out maybe we need to go strong on Sunday.
Yeah, we need 3 points. We need all the points, and there's more chance of getting that at against Leicester than there is at Liverpool. So go for it.
I think the possibility of getting points diminishes as the fixtures go on. So we've got Leicester. We got our best chance of getting 3 points there. We're still playing at home while we're playing Liverpool.
Yep.
We're staying at home. It's going to be a good game. It should be. It better be like a Champions League type atmosphere. I want to see something similar to Manchester City at home when we give them a scare. And then I think we're just going to be out of gas.
Can we get AirPod Albert then?
AirPod Arteta. How about that?
No.
Just slip the AirPods in, and
I don't think it works for him. like I said, when Albert spoke and when he managed his squad, regardless of if Arteta was involved or not, the team looked different.
That's like one of the great mysteries of this season. How did Arsenal play like that
without their manager? And then since then, we've never seen anything close to it.
Unless we do see
nothing close to that.
Yeah.
Not even close. Where you go, you know what? I remember that against. Yeah, no, we haven't seen it.
Well, we've had some things. We've had that we beat that team.
45 minutes.
We beat that team.
No, since the City game,
we beat Aston Villa. Not since.
No, since is my question, because we never saw what we saw in the first.
What are you two arguing about now?
Stop it. We're not arguing.
not-
just
we're not
talking.
arguing. We are moving on. We're going to talk about the Premier League. We've sort of previewed the Leicester game now, and we believe 3 points on Sunday is on the cards, and I think we'll see what happens Wednesday against Liverpool, and we're going to go to Steven Gerrard's place, and they'll want revenge. Aston Villa will want revenge. 3-1 defeat at our place. So let's get into the Premier League. Any final thoughts, Alonso, on Sunday, Leicester? Before we get into the Premier
I
League.
think that it'll be a close game. I think that we'll see hopefully Emile Rowe make an appearance. I hope Lacazette scores, give him some confidence. But at the end of the day, I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a close game, but I think we'll put away at the end.
And no Jamie Vardy. BX said, I want to see the hot sauce continue to pour and flow. Albert is a disciple of Van Gaal, total football and Dutch master.
Yeah, man. Because the one thing it did show for me watching Albert and the team play the way they did is like, okay, so then my question about whether or not he has decent assistance is kind of been answered a little bit because I liked what I saw from him.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a lot more of that. So,
yeah, hopefully. All right, Stan, let's kick off the Premier League preview and our upsets. And I haven't really looked at the upsets, so probably won't be putting forward my choice on this podcast. But we start with Brighton at home to Liverpool. Liverpool going for they've got to remain perfect. Liverpool have to, but they've got a tough away game at Brighton on Saturday morning.
Well, it's a tough when Brighton's lost 4 in a row and Liverpool's won 5. So
Every game is tough. You're going away from home in Brighton. They're not going to give you an easy game. I call that tough.
they've lost 4 in a row, Ray.
I'm going to talk myself
at some
into
point, they're going to change that around, right? They're not going to go winless for the rest of the season, right?
Well, I'm picking Liverpool while the rest of you guys discuss it.
All right, Stan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think Liverpool win. Don't see anything to make me think otherwise.
I think Brighton is a tough place to go to. Gary?
Is there? You didn't even give the weather forecast because that would have actually made it a little bit more.
It always
Remember-
rains at Brighton.
Ray, you have to
Always
say
rains.
win, lose, or draw. You can't say it's going to be tough. Come on.
Leicester is a must-win game. Brighton don't look the same. We need to continue to collect points.
Yeah, no, I Liverpool is too deep, so it doesn't matter.
You're right in the fence, Ray. What's happening in
I'm right on the
Liverpool
fence.
right
Gary sees nothing but Liverpool. I want to see at least Brighton give them a tough game, and then they come to the Emirates on Wednesday.
For about 5 minutes, they.
What's going to happen, Ray? You're not saying what's going to happen.
I don't know. We're getting angry. Angry Tony's coming in. We
You're
got
not
a front.
answering the question.
We got a front. What's going to happen? I will. I'll say a draw. Brighton will get a draw. There you go.
Fucking took you long enough.
This reminds me of last weekend when I said Burnley would get an upset against Chelsea. Well, Chelsea won 4-0. So that didn't work out so well for me.
That one was hilarious.
Alonso, Brighton at home to Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Liverpool, they're going for the title. They need those wins, and let them win, and then Arsenal can take some points off them. Stan, on Wednesday night. We'll settle for that.
Yeah.
And actually, next Thursday we'll be talking about the Liverpool game. There you go. Stan, Brett, I think I'm gonna say this is the shit game of the week, as Tony has captioned these. Brentford.
That's not how I count. So it's who gives a fuck game of a week.
Who gives a
Get it
fuck?
right.
Stan,
Get it right.
Wow.
Brentford at home to Burnley. And Tony's warming up, Stan. We're going to wind this thing up soon.
Yeah, we're off again in a minute time, mate. You missed your spot. I'd say that could be a draw.
Yeah, Brentford versus Burnley. I think I have Brentford as one of the teams that may drop in with Watford and Norwich to go down.
I could even see that as a 0-0 draw.
There you go, Tony. 0-0.
Nobody gets points in Stan's world.
Yeah. Okay.
Steven said, Ray, you're not giving Brighton enough credit. They're a hard team to beat. If they get a good striker in the summer, they're going to get European football. That's all
I'm going for Burnley.
You're going for Burnley away from home.
Weghorst.
Okay. Weghorst.
He could be the
Alonso,
difference maker.
Brentford at home to Burnley, Alonso.
Let's see.
Ivan
I'll go
Toney,
for Burnley.
Alonso.
15th versus 18th.
Ivan Toney.
I'm going
Good
for,
to see Ericsson. Good to see Ericsson come back. And did you see that tackle where the player fell on top of him and then he
Yeah.
realized it was Ericsson and gave him a
I'm
nice.
going for Burnley.
Realised it was Ericsson and made sure he had like an insurance plan. Oh, fucking hell, my insurance come. I covered.
You're going for Brentford, Alonso?
Can we
Yeah.
skip the next
No,
game?
no,
'Cause
no,
I
no,
have
no.
a
I'm
sick
going
decision.
for Burnley. I'm
You're
going
going for
Burnley.
Burnley. Okay.
Hmm.
Burnley to give Brentford more.
This is my
heartache.
upset special.
All
This is
right.
my upset special.
Brentford versus Burnley.
What's
Gary,
the point spread between them then?
3. He's going for one of yours.
And that's your special pick.
Alonso's going
Yeah.
all out. He's going crazy.
Yeah, you used to do that all the
All
time.
the
You go
chips.
for like 1 or 2
I'm,
points.
I'm going
Yeah, but I didn't
crazy.
understand the rules.
It's
For a
19
while.
versus 20. Yes, I'm going crazy.
Ray does the opposite.
No,
Ray,
no, no,
Ray,
no.
Ray just goes
No.
like, okay, that team's at the bottom of the league and they're playing Liverpool.
Ray
I'm
just
going
goes
for that
balls
team.
out. He's
I'm going for that too.
I'm going for-
he's wishing for the
No,
grand
Ray, I'm not-
slam.
All right, this is not my upset special. I'll take
All
that
right,
back.
that's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
I'm going for Burnley to win this one.
Burnley to win that game. All right. Gary, the next one.
You didn't say your pick, Ray.
Oh, my God. Burnley will beat Brentford. Thanks,
you know,
Tony,
it
for
could be a
keeping me
draw.
on track. I do wonder why there's not many games on Saturday. Can anyone tell me why there's only 3 games on Saturday and there's 6 games on Sunday?
Probably
I mean,
rescheduled or
it's all
something.
about the money, man. It's all about the money. On Saturdays, everybody's at the beach. On Sundays, everybody's home.
Doesn't seem right.
I can tell you now, right? There's no beaches in Peckham, so
Probably because you had 4. Probably because you had 4
If
games
London like
today,
the beat.
Ray. You don't think the 4 games today had anything to do about it?
The what game?
Yes. There was games tonight. You're right,
4.
Tony.
4
You're
of them.
right. You're right.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
BX Gunner got there before you.
Well,
5
5
games
games.
to go, yeah.
Can we
And
skip
Lowell.
the next one because we're all going to
Were those games? Were these games ones that were games in hand that had to be caught up with?
Yeah.
Okay. Hence,
Week-
we didn't.
There were
do it.
week 20, week whatever, week 16, all that stuff. We'll have a little chat
Do
about
you reckon
that.
they're going to hold our North London derby back to the right at the last minute, right at the end of the
And
season?
you know
Do
what?
reckon?
I'm hoping it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Like
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
just laughing at them, and then we still win anyway. So
Cheers, Lolo. Keeping me honest there. TV money. Gary, that team go to Old Trafford. Take on right.
yeah, like you said, I think I've said this before in another when we talked about another match. I want Bane to show up and destroy the field like he did in in the
Who?
Batman movie.
Bane, okay.
Where
You
the,
have to say the name of a movie. It's
I
know.
don't remember it. It's dark. Is it dark? Is
Last
it,
Batman with Christian Bale, wasn't it? The last
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises. I like that. I like that scene. I could do with one of those scenes. You're just running, and next thing you know, the floor just drops out from underneath you, and who disappears? It could be Kane. It could be anybody from Manchester United, and we're laughing.
And Graham Smith, you still probably blame Paul Pogba for it. It's Pogba's fault.
I understand, Stan, that Ronaldo wasn't playing against City at the weekend, and he took off. He just left.
Yeah, I got to draw for this one because I don't want anybody to get
No.
anything more than.
I'll go along with that draw as well.
So
Draw
it's
point-
Manchester United and Tottenham.
Yes.
See, the thing is with Ronaldo, it's all theatre, isn't it? With him, it's all theatre. You know, it's a performance that's going on. You know, it's a different acts to start in Act 2 now. You know, good. I want them to be in disarray. There's a lot of disarray going on at both teams. You know, it seems to blow hot and cold with Antonio. If they win a game, it's the best job in the world. If they lose a game, everyone's shit, and I'm out of here. And it doesn't seem to be stable. You know, Harry Kane seems to have found a little bit of form, which maybe is a little bit. You know, the best we can hope for. All right, best we can hope for is a draw.
Yeah.
That we can hope for is at Man United.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's at Old Trafford.
If I was
So I'll take that.
going to put money out of my wallet down, I think that maybe Tottenham could edge them. It's a possibility that they could edge them. You know, I think Man United are in a little bit more disarray than Tottenham are, which could be their detriment. Better team of individuals, but they're not playing as a team. Best we can hope for is a draw, and that's what I want.
Yeah, a draw would mean both of those teams drop points, Alonso. I'm going to skip past Batman for a second.
Yeah, you know, like Stan has said, this is at Manchester United, right? So it's always a tough game at their place, no matter who's playing there against them. So I think, you know, the whole Ronaldo thing with Manchester United, I think it's become a distraction now.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know about Tottenham, I can care less. So we all want to draw, but I think, you know, we'll see a Manchester United. I think we'll see Man U win. I think they'll pull it out somehow.
Yeah.
And the more and more that, you know, Tottenham lose, to benefit us by not having them as rivals down the stretch. I think West Ham and Manchester United pose more of a threat than Tottenham do, to be honest with you. So draw would be ideal for us, but I think Manchester United will win.
Yeah, Man United have more points than Tottenham, but they've also played more games. So Tottenham's got those 2 games at hand on Man United, and they're 2 points behind. So maybe, hate to say it, but a Man United win would not be the worst thing in the world.
I think I'll be watching that game because, you know, it's quite important to us with what shakes out with that one.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, it's one where we can sit back. We're not going to have. We won't win. We won't beat Leicester till the next day, but we can sit back and enjoy this one and see what happens. Spurs will lose one, win one, lose one. So their last match was a win. So I expect United to win. That's probably a good way to go. Win one, lose one. Theatrics and deception are tools of the initiated of the League of Shadows. We are the initiated, aren't we? We are 37. Tony, what do you think?
Ra's al Ghul.
Batman. Okay.
Who cares?
Tony, did you watch the new Batman film, Tony? Did you watch it, the new one?
Mm-hmm.
I saw it.
Never got the time to see it.
What do you think, Alonso?
It was very brilliant. I liked it a lot. It was very dark and very, very true to the Detective Batman comics.
I tell you what, it was so dark, right? Me and the missus couldn't see what was going on. We're like literally squinting, and like, I think that Batman is. Oh, everything's really dark.
No, the lighting was really dark. It was really dark. I thought you meant dark as in like ominous and
gritty,
scary.
Yeah, it was that. So
Both.
it was very violent, very greedy, very cool, very, very ideal Batman should be.
Do you like the guy as Batman, Rob Pattinson? Do you think he pulls it off as Batman and Bruce Wayne?
He surprised he surprised me a lot. He played a good Batman, and I was quite shocked at his performance. Very
He did really
stoic,
good in that Lighthouse movie.
Very young Batman. He did very good. Yeah, Stan. I was surprised he did so well.
All right, Tony. Next one up, Chelsea.
I said draw on this one before we move on.
Okay, got it. Chelsea at home to Newcastle. Wow, this is going to have some headlines. This like the rich clubs are. I don't know how you're going to have.
Chelsea's going to be like, see, this is what happens to you. Newcastle's like, what do you mean? They're like, no, see, this is what happens to you.
Newcastle, they introduced him to other Dubai owners.
Isn't it such a coincidence of the league fixtures that, you know, Newcastle have to go to Chelsea and the fans can't go there.
That's right. Yeah.
Newcastle
former-
fans can't go there. And
The former Big Dick Swingers versus the new Big Dick Swingers.
Doesn't it give Chelsea kind of some advantage at their home games now, though?
yep,
In a way.
I think
you
so.
would think so. Yes.
I think
Definitely.
Chelsea, with all the turmoil, still gets a win.
And that's one of the Sunday games, and there's going to be one of 5 to pick from on that time slot. So what happens, Tony? Newcastle are talk about form tables. Well, you're going to take 2 games away from them, hopefully.
What? You want me to take 5?
No, I'm kidding. Newcastle.
They got 13. They got 13 points in the last 5 games they played.
Chelsea. Who's going to win? Chelsea, Newcastle.
I already told you. Were you paying attention?
Gary's like,
I
don't
already
go
told
there.
you Chelsea. I
Chelsea.
already told you
Okay.
Chelsea.
Chelsea will
Never
hold
pay
Newcastle.
attention, Ray. That's how you dick me out 11 fucking points for not paying attention.
Never happened. Alonso.
Never happened.
Chelsea.
Who do you have me down
Hope
for
Chelsea-
that week, Ray?
I
Nobody?
hope Chelsea wins. Yeah, I hope Chelsea wins. Right.
All right, you hope Chelsea wins.
Yeah.
Hey, we finally made it happen. Angry Tony's here. Gary, what's going to happen? Chelsea, Newcastle.
I'm gonna go. I'm going this way because I need points. So
Ooh, that's why you were shaking your head.
yeah, Newcastle think we'll be able to steal a draw here. I'm reaching.
All right, I'm putting your name down. All right, cool.
I just Newcastle is playing well,
Yeah, they are.
and Chelsea is really deep. So
I didn't see the game today, but Bruno Guimaraes scored the winning goal.
the winning goal.
Or I didn't. What was the final result? Was it 2-1?
And
Yeah,
both
more
have
one.
13 out of their last 15
Yeah,
points.
2-1.
So.
Yeah, 2-1. He looked good. I just like. I mean, we want to see a good game, so hopefully we'll see a good game. It won't be a
And
blowout.
beating that Southampton teams, Newcastle beat Southampton today, Stan. So that's a good result for Newcastle to go to Southampton and get a win there. And now they're
Yeah,
gonna go there.
Southampton look quite tight at times when they're at home, but I think, as Lolo pointed out, they've got quite a few key players out at Newcastle, and they've just about got a good start in getting the starting 11 together. Alan Saint-Maxim, probably one of their best players, is out.
Mhm.
Joe Linton's out. Trippier's out. And 2 of those, some Trippier has just recently come into the side. I think 3 of their strongest players there going to Chelsea as well, and they're not allowed to take any fans with them. Again, I think he's going to be an advantage for Chelsea. I think Chelsea just will have too much for him.
Yeah.
They
Chelsea-
have a nice little run at the minute, Newcastle, but I don't think they've got enough about them to beat a Chelsea
Chelsea
team.
side.
With Tommy Tickles being able to do magic off the bench and have a lot of players at his disposal, it's a bit too much.
Perhaps the last time Chelsea will beat Newcastle.
Who
Maybe.
knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, because Newcastle, maybe we see Newcastle being the team that's going to replace Chelsea in the
Could be some
Oh,
role reversal, right?
yeah.
Because again, are there any good Chelsea players whose contracts are coming up and won't be able to re-sign that can be poached? Is there anything there?
That's
I mean-
crazy that they can't even re-sign players.
No, can't redo anything. Can't do no deals.
Gary, you're mute.
They can't. They've only got X amount to travel. They've got a small budget for security. They can't sell merchandising or nothing. And the thing is, though, on match day, a team like Newcastle, they're going to Chelsea, and they can't take any fans with them. That's a handicap for a start. Do you know what I mean? I think.
I mean, we're going to go to Stamford Bridge later this season, not be able to bring fans there.
If anything, I think what they should do is, if they have to do these sanctions or whatever, surely it would be that it goes for Chelsea, like they're under COVID. They can't have any fans in there. And maybe those people that have season tickets, they get a portion of that refunded back to them for what they've not used. So that fans
Away-
get half
Away
their
fans
season ticket
get
back.
in free. Away fans get in free. How
But they're not
crazy
allowed
is
to have
that?
security, are they? So that's security. That's basically, you know, that's not security for them. That's like stewards. That's like everyday people who have a second job to earn a bit of dough. That's them. You know, we're going back into that. But the point of the matter is, I think it's as much as they've got things happening to Chelsea which are going to hurt them in the long run. The next, you know, these match days could be an advantage to them because there's no away fans.
Yeah. And whatever home games there's left, maybe 6 home games for them. Lowell said Newcastle looked good, got a lot of key players out, and have kept
Those
on
games should
winning.
be played behind closed doors. We get the result. The teams go, they play. Maybe it's televised. I don't know. We get the result. But have no fans if you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said earlier, I just think that all the sanctions make absolutely no sense because you're not. What is the sanctions for? Who are you punishing? Nobody that really was.
Well, the next
cause-
game, they're punishing Newcastle fans, really, aren't they? That's it.
I mean,
punished, right?
They're freezing the gates, so there's no more revenue going into the club other than season ticket
Well,
holders.
why would you do that to your league? Here, guess what? I'm going to say no more money goes into the league.
It's an
You know,
embargo. It's an
it makes-
embargo on the club.
But it makes no sense. What is the benefit of it?
It's just
I-
funny. The first
I
ones
heard
to get to
today that
Newcastle,
Last
And all
month,
their-
Chelsea
all
posted
their
debts.
dirty money.
I heard that last month Chelsea posted debts of 140 million pounds. So they're not going to have. They don't have a guy that's going to turn around now at the end of the season and go, "Yeah, I've got that under my pillow. I've got that in
Here
change.
you
I've
go.
got that change
Yeah.
rolling around somewhere.
Yeah.
There you go. That money. They've now become a self-sustaining model, like Arsenal. And while they're being a self-sustaining model, they've still got to balance their books and bring their books to be straight. Because even if somebody comes in and buys it for 2 billion, that sort of shit doesn't happen overnight. It won't
Then
happen
there's-
for months at least.
Then there's with $1.5 billion of redoing Stamford Bridge area. That
See, and that's the
development.
thing. It's a. I mean,
Remember when Chelsea got sold for £1? Ken Bates. Look
Yeah.
at where we are now. I remember when Chelsea got sold for £1 by Ken Bates. That's
Comes full circle.
was somebody saying what happens to that money when they sell it?
we ain't getting any of it. I know
Where
that,
is
right?
that? Where's that money going?
Yeah, what happens to that?
They
I
just
mean,
took-
it's got to be administrated by the government. Then, if you go into
Just-
administration,
They took it
And-
away from. They took it away from him. He
Yeah.
doesn't have
Yeah.
any claim
Goes-
to anything.
it may go to the treasurer, and
Because
somebody.
he's not
may-
going to get back what he bought
Treasury.
it for, and if there's profit, they keep the profit. They're taking everything, the whole kit and caboodle.
So
Maybe
that's
somebody
why.
could tell
That's
us.
why I don't understand why they are managing the team that way because it's hurting. Once again, it's hurting the league. You're taking one of the better teams in the league and saying, "Guess what? I'm going to punish you for what your owner did," and it's going to hurt the league in the long term, especially if they have to struggle and if they struggle and they don't play as well as they could because of all of this, right? Because
They've got like 22 players on loan, right? They're going to have to reevaluate that, for example. We've got all these players that we're paying part
but
of
they
a wage
can't.
now.
You just said they can't do anything.
So what happens there? If I've got 22 players out on
You just said we keep saying they can't do anything, and so what? The
Those
Their
players,
loan players
the
could
players
come
just
those
back.
stranded,
players,
right?
those players will come back and play for them.
they'll have to, right?
Yeah.
So they can't buy any.
Well,
They
They
Borgia,
can't re-sign their
They're gonna
NBA
give,
players.
and what's the other guy from Norwich? Is it Norwich? Not Norwich. Yeah, not Norwich.
Crystal Palace. It's
Is there anybody on a
Gallagher.
expiring contract?
Gallagher,
you want from
Gallagher, and
Chelsea?
Borgia are probably worthy of coming back, and they can get they'll be fine. They
I'm
won't
playing,
miss
yeah. But
They're not. So next summer now, they're not going to be going in there doing a Lukaku or anything like that because
No.
They don't
If
need to
anything,
do it
because
now. They don't even need
they've got to pay off. Like if they've got money,
got the
that's
players.
they've got to
Right.
pay that shit off. There's no sugar daddy paying off the 140 million now.
some of
And right.
some of those players want out though as well out of the club. But
I
they're
saw
going to
like
get
I
props.
saw like Rudiger is going to be gone. I saw Jorginho's going to be gone. I saw there's like
Which
4 or
one?
5 players that would be gone And
Which of those players would you want to buy? That
Christensen will
contract's
be
up.
gone.
Pulisic. I
Yeah.
take Pulisic.
It's Christensen will be gone, not Christian. Gotta give props to Stephen Denham here. Ray, I told you Newcastle will be okay, and it's looking like they will be. That's out of order. Away fans can't go to Chelsea. It's giving them advantage.
Of course it
True.
is.
Well, we just been talking
so,
about
like, they're punishing them, but they're not punishing them, but they're punishing the fans. They're punishing the team still to some degree.
yeah.
All right, they don't have a full stadium.
Why can't the
Like,
league,
can you buy a
league
beer
just
and a pie?
operate
There's
them
nothing.
until
You
the
can't
end
buy
of
a
the
beer,
season?
you can't buy a pie. There's nothing. You can't buy a program. There's
You
nothing.
can't, the shops won't be open. You can't buy a shirt.
What
Well,
is
like,
guys,
obviously,
once again? What is the point?
To freeze the assets to the owner.
Purely on a football.
They've already taken it away. It's not like he's getting it anyway. So
Purely
why
just
would
on
It's
you?
a
already
football
taken
field,
away.
right,
It's
as an
already
Arsenal
seized.
supporter,
So
But-
there's no like freezing. What are you freezing?
What
are you
have to
freezing?
take it away?
You're freezing it from yourself. Think about it. If you are, if the government
It's in,
took over,
it's
the
in
government just took over-
administration. He's not getting any of the money.
listen,
if
Why keep
the
punishing
government
them?
just took
Tony.
over, the government just took over an entity and then said, you know what, I'm going to handcuff myself and not try to make it worth more money. It makes no sense.
Why didn't the league take control of a team instead of the government?
looking at everything like that and just looking at purely as an Arsenal fan, for me, if you look at it just under that fucking microscope and take out all the other stuff around it, couldn't happen to a nicer team.
And they were chanting.
When they came in with Abramovich back then, I remember it so fresh now. You know, we
Yeah.
were just leaving Highbury. You know, we were being told that we were going to do big things. We were moving to a big stadium. You know, we were going toe to toe with Man United at that point. You know, if you were looking at the league and you said who's going to win the league, you'd either say Man United or Arsenal.
Mhm.
Man United or Arsenal. That's where it was, right?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, they just got that sugar daddy coming with all the cash and everything, and it just changed the whole landscape. It changed
football.
everything.
And they
Football
won 20
on
And
steroids.
won 24
remember how
trophies.
Wenger and Ferguson's relationship used to be. When all that happened at Chelsea, they came together. They were like, okay, I know, you know what I mean. I know me and you don't get on, but we didn't get on for the right reasons. Like this is why this coming in, and it really changed the landscape. So they've had a good spin of the wheel. They had a guy come in with a huge load of money. They've won stuff. They've changed managers umpteen times. They've had the pick of all the managers. They've had the pick of the players. They've won leagues and they've won the European Cup. But just like Man United, it seems like their spin of the wheel. It's a spin of the wheel. Their spin of the wheel's over. Ours was over a while, like ages ago. It's a wheel. Their spin's finished because they're going to be hurting now because
But
they're
you
not going
think
to be
they're-
able to buy players at the tier that they were. They're talking about Haaland about a few months ago. That's off the fucking table, mate.
Do you
They
think their
can't even
fans
get
would
one of his
still?
legs. Sorry, Tony.
Do you think their fans would still be happy with the 24 trophies they've won since he's taken over?
Oh
end
yeah,
up with
I
a
mean,
shit
don't get me
show.
wrong. Again, it's no different to us looking back when you know, doing the Invincibles and things like that. That's now part of their history. But you know, you're only as good as your last sale. It's no good being a top salesman and then 6 months down the road when you ain't done nothing, you're going, remember that big deal though that I got in January? I got that huge deal. Yeah, that was 6 months ago, mate. We was all patting you on the back then. It's now. And it's a results game. So their spin of the wheel has gone, I think. They're going to have bigger things. They have to balance books. They've got all that to juggle. The players' contracts won't be renewed. They'll have to probably, like Gary said, bring back these loan players and give them more minutes now. It's a big change. And while all of that upheaval is happening, we need to take advantage.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that our shit is in order. We now go into the transfer market. We don't have to worry about Chelsea coming in to snatch the player away. That's one thing that we don't have to worry about anymore.
And to be fair, we've been getting our house in order gradually. We want it a little bit faster. We want the impetus to go a little bit faster. Stefan said it's mad. Chasky fans are not as cocky now, but to be fair, the fans are being prosecuted for something that isn't their fault.
Yeah.
True. We don't get to choose our owners, and that's something Arsenal fans have been talking
And that's
about.
what the league. See, the league did that, and then they're punishing the fans. Why? They allowed the ownership to be what it is, and then they're punishing the fans for it. Once again, they're punishing the fans for it, and I understand. It's funny to laugh at it, right? But it's what they're doing to the entire league when they do something like this, and that's
And they know
that's
what
my point.
New,
I don't know much
and they
about
know what
Abramovich, but is he
Newcastle's
doing
ownership
something
group has done.
drastically wrong today that he wasn't doing when they said, "Yeah, you can have this"? Do you know what I'm getting at?
They knew all of it back then. There's nothing changed. Just like they knew Newcastle's owners what they've done.
All money will go to the government, not make it to its intended targets, displaced Ukrainian.
And that's ridiculous, right? So why does the UK government need that money? Because they're just going to waste it.
I mean,
Because
they will
Sure.
say all the right things. They'll channel it.
They're trying to
into
recoup
minority-
some of the
They're just
Brexit
going to
money,
waste
Gary.
it, and you know what? They're just going to waste it, and all their buddies will get rich. And
Think of the size of the bullet that we dodged, though, not going with Ulashir Asimov. He had all the money. A lot of people.
Yeah, but he
wanted
didn't
him
get
in.
sanctioned.
I did. I think, yeah, I'd go with the money. You got to be in it to win it. But
That's-
a lot of
That's
us
what gets
fans-
me. How did he not get sanctioned with his involvement with Everton?
We'll
I
see
think
what
he has.
happens. We'll see what happens.
No, he hasn't.
no.
A lot of
He
us
wasn't one of
fans-
them listed.
I don't think he's majority. I don't think he's majority owner.
He's from
I don't think he's-
Uzbekistan now, isn't he? But I don't know what his connections is with all of that stuff. I don't know.
He's still
But-
a Russian oligarch anyway.
Alonso.
But I don't think he's a majority owner Uzunov of Everton. I think he's just part owner.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but he still didn't get any
the
sanctions.
Mashiri guy, I think, is Turkish as well. So, hey.
Well, we know one thing, right? Gone of the days are owners like Jack Walker at Blackburn.
Gone are those
You're
days.
not going to see that again. A guy coming from the local area who made good with a business that made money. He bought a football club, brought in good players, and they won the league, right? They only won that one title, but you're not going to see that again.
Yep.
Stefan, when I say waste money, I mean it's not going to go to a good cause. It's going to go to the wrong cause. That's what it's going to go to.
Yeah.
So, like you said, it's going to go to in somebody's pocket who already has stuffed pockets. So now they have to now they have to go get more pockets sewn on because their pockets are full. I mean, that's the problem with that.
This
whole
is
thing.
a interesting discussion here. Why not would have still gone with Usmanov and knowing what we know.
I would have. I'd still went with him.
I mean, knowing what we know
Maybe we'd
now,
be sitting here now going, oh, well, we won 3 Champions
Yeah,
Leagues,
Champions
2
League.
titles. Oh, well, the spin of the wheel.
yeah,
Stan,
know,
would you still
well,
went with him or not? Knowing what
Well,
you now know, would you still
every
went
time
with him?
fuel goes up, Roman gets even richer. And shame on
No,
the Chelsea
wouldn't.
fans.
You want to
Shame on-
still go with Usman?
No.
Shame on those Chelsea fans for chanting his name as well in the current climate. For me,
Yeah, that was shitty.
Against.
There's a
Norwich.
time and a place, right? I can understand they've got sentiment for the
Not
guy.
during the
What he's
moment of
done
fucking
for their
silence.
football club. He done a lot for them as a Chelsea supporter. I imagine they must love the guy, right? However, you know what I mean? You got to read the room. There's a time and a place, right? And that
Wait
wasn't it.
until the final whistle. Don't do
All right.
it during a moment of
I-
silence.
I-
for it.
Exactly.
I'm not reading the room. I'm reading the clock, and we got to get through a few more things here. Okay, Tony, real quick.
Everton don't lose, they're gonna be in the relegation zone. Yay!
Everton. We're talking about Leeds, Norwich, real quick,
Why are we doing
Leeds.
that one?
because it's the next game.
My ESPN, it's the next one. Okay,
What about transfer marked?
we get another double header of who gives a fuck game of a
You
week.
see
here.
them? You see him just poking the bear.
It's Leeds needs to win. They're not going to. It's gonna be a draw.
Gary, well, I'm going to come to you then, Alonso. Gary, Leeds, Norwich.
Leeds at home. They're gonna win. They got to win.
Yes.
That's all. They got to have their fans
Make
behind
Mr.
them.
Tom happy.
And you know what? The way they played in the last game, if they can't beat Norwich, then yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
That's
to
right.
Sell the fans.
Everyone's
Yeah.
beating Norwich. Brentford beat Norwich last weekend. Alonso, Leeds really need to beat Norwich. Alonso,
Leeds.
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 Stan?
It's just a bit of a scrap, isn't it? Those guys are scrapping to stay
They
up.
both lost
You
5 in
know
a
what I
row.
mean?
So.
Could go either
But
way, isn't it?
It's the real bloodbath. I know there was another bloodbath going on earlier, but this is the bloodbath at the bottom of the league.
Yeah, it could go. I wouldn't. Hard one to call that. A hard one to call.
Tony like that.
Could be a draw. I don't know. That's a hard one. It could go either way. Someone could have a good day there, but Leeds are at home. Could count for something.
I didn't see the Leeds game
I
tonight.
didn't hear an answer from Stan there either.
I said a draw, right? I said I'd go with it. If I was going to put money out of my wallet.
You said you could see a draw. You didn't say you were going with a draw.
All right,
Oh,
Tony.
come on, Tony. Semantics.
Semantics, my dear sir.
Jesus,
I'm going-
Tony.
I'm
All
going.
right, Everton. We're back. We're back on the Transfer Markt website now, Tony. It's Everton at home to Wolves.
No, I'm going to go
I'm
with
saying
Leeds.
Everton.
I'm going to go with Leeds because Leeds need it. They need to have some kind of dignity going on, right? They need a
Mr.
win.
Tom.
Sorry,
Mr.
and I'm for
Tom
Mr.
needs-
Tom as well.
I already said Everton's will lose. They'll be in a
Yeah,
relegation zone.
Wolves won 4-0 today. They're back on track, Alonso.
They're alive after we killed them.
Everton, Wolves. Everton are going down.
Oh, going for
Everton's
Wolves.
going down, Ray.
I'll go for
Wolves.
Wolves.
Wolves will win that game. I think.
Yeah, I think Everton are just shot at the moment. I don't see any reason why they will. That team gives me no reason why I should have faith in them winning for quite a while. So it's quite a shame that they're doing this bad with the talent they have. I think that they've been an injury-plagued team this year, but there's no excuse. I mean, if I were an Everton fan, I'd be kind of embarrassed, to be honest with you. That being said, I'm going for Wolves.
Steven's asking anyone jump in there. Would you take any Everton or Leeds players? Richarlison,
Rufino, Rodrigo.
Rafinha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
two good ones
Rodrigo.
there.
Yeah. If they get relegated, but we don't think Leeds are going to get relegated. I don't
Duncan-
think Leeds
Duncan
are going to get
Ferguson.
relegated.
I think
Wolves.
Everton will. Do you think
Wolves.
Everton's getting relegated, Ray?
No, I'm going for Brentford.
The thing is with Everton, man, they look under Frank Lampard, man. They don't. He doesn't. I don't know. And you see him in his interviews, man. Frank Lampard interviews are the best because
What?
he goes off into his own little world, and then he realizes that what he just said was on camera, and he like he'll do something like, well, of course it's really bad of what's going on in the Ukraine in the Ukraine war. But
Lolo says Calvin Phillips.
but funny enough, in my spam folder and Gmail, I'm still getting emails saying Ukraine women looking for love. But seriously, though, he'll do something like that, and then he'll pull himself back. Go, but seriously, though, yeah, it's thing.
Yeah, why not? Said Mr. Tom must be going through.
Are you
his
talking
phone.
about
Mr. Tom replied.
Rowdy's ex there?
Mr. Tom replied to me. He said he was going to go straight home and go to bed. Why not, Tony? He wasn't
What?
going to watch. He wasn't. Mr. Tom was not going to watch his podcast because he needed to sleep, and because Leeds are not doing it for him lately. All right,
You
Tony.
see the golf though, right, with Lamps, right? Because Tommy Tickle came in and basically took over the same team. He didn't come in and bring loads of players in because there was no window. They ended up winning the European Cup.
Yeah.
See, it shows you what a good manager, does with a team, can do, how vital that is.
And they won the pointless world championship thing.
I bet Tottenham would take it.
That's like the Audi, but it's a little bit better than the Audi Cup, right?
Does anybody care
You
about
have, to,
that?
you have to win
Super-
something for that, Stan. So it's
Huh?
Does
really,
anybody care about that Super Cup? No.
I'd take it.
it means you've won something.
Yeah, we're not just good, we're super.
Ding, 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 ding.
The charity shield means you won something.
I'd take it all.
It's a
man.
friendly.
The charity shield means you won something.
It's a friendly though. It's not
Doesn't
a
matter.
competitive match.
Yeah, but you won that friendly. Which comes with
No, Stan.
which comes with a
Stan.
trophy. So,
Man, this is where you sit back and let them go at it.
I know. I feel like Nick Patrick here getting in the middle. Sorry, Tony, wrestling references there.
Gary, West Ham at home to Aston Villa.
No.
6 versus 9.
Dan wants us to hurry up and wrap up so you can go watch some more wrestling.
I guess I want Villa to win this because I don't want Hammers to think they have a chance. So
Yeah.
So yeah, there you
Steven
go.
Gerrard. Steven Gerrard's picking up some pace. Stan.
Is Coutinho out? He's out, right?
He scored tonight.
Oh, good. So he's back. Okay, I thought he was out.
Who
So
did
even better.
they beat? Who did they beat? Southampton.
They beat Leeds 3-0.
Leeds. Oh, okay. At Leeds.
Yeah.
But there goes that home advantage we were just talking
Even
about.
Callum Chambers.
You were just saying about the home advantage.
Callum Chambers.
Scrap it, Norwich.
Callum Chambers scored, Tony.
Ah,
That a boy. Does he have his curling locks, Matt?
I don't know. I don't know this fascination of following Arsenal players after they've left the club, but it seems to be.
Ask Alonso about it.
Alonso, we have not had our update.
Come on, Kieran Gibbs.
Kieran Gibbs is retired now.
Kieran Gibbs is retired now, and he's spending evenings at home with a glass of wine.
a glass of sherry.
Watch
Watch this podcast.
Decora,
Watching
Allen,
this podcast.
Phillips, Yerry Mina, Damari, Gray, Jack Harrison, players I would have. So why not? West Ham. Who cares? Draw, right?
You didn't ask me about Southampton.
No,
Southampton.
We're not there yet.
Villa win there. I'd
Where
like
are
a
we
Villa
going?
win.
We're jumping all over the place.
We're not jumping all over the place. You're looking at
Talking about Southampton.
We were talking
What?
about West Ham Villa.
Yeah, West Ham Villa.
Villa win.
Draw.
I'd like a Villa win there.
All right. Who didn't say what they think it's going to be? I'm going to go draw. Tony.
Alonso didn't either, did you?
No.
Go ahead, Tony.
Villa.
Alonso.
I think you know, since Coutinho's been on Everton, Aston Villa, I think he's made a difference. As had Colin Chambers, so
Yep.
I think it'd be a close game. I think Aston Villa will win 2-1. Aston Villa to the Villains.
Aston Villa 2-1. We go to the next game.
West Ham have European games to think about as well, don't they?
Yeah, they're playing in the Europa League. Did they play tonight?
So
They
they're
lost
in
to
those,
Sevilla.
that's uncharted. That's kind of uncharted waters for
Uncharted
them.
territory.
Maybe
Yeah.
they'll take their eye off the ball and we'll get a Villa win.
These are the things that are going to help us. Tottenham, Man United. I think they're still in the Champions League.
Yeah. Atletico Madrid.
Yep. And I think they got what, a 2-2 draw against Atletico.
Yeah,
So they're still involved. They're still involved. West Ham are a goal down from the first leg with Sevilla, but they should probably progress. Next game, Southampton, Watford. Watford can't buy a Wade and Gary. Southampton are going to get back on track and win easily, right?
Gary sees a draw. I can feel it.
He just wants to go against what I said.
Yeah.
Gary, the show's went on and long enough. Pick a fucking team.
Come on, hurry up, going on. She's
Southampton, all right, Southampton.
I'm going to put up the thanks for watching everybody banner soon.
Gary's just like,
You should put the flickering lights. Blink, blink.
Dan's like, I got WCW matches to watch. Let me go.
West Ham lost today. They did look pathetic. I think that might have been Watford.
They played
Stan.
Sevilla today.
Okay. Hassan Hüttl should get a win, right, Stan?
are they playing Watford?
They're playing Watford on.
Well, okay, so they're playing.
Sunday.
Boy, he's one of my favourite managers. He's a very good guy. Boy, I love Roy Hodgson. Can't say his W's or his
Roy.
R's. Yeah, I want to sit on his. Every time I see him, I want to sit on his knee, and I want him to give me a Werther's original from out of his cardigan pocket. Give him a hug.
What
But
was
I don't think they've got
what
a chance.
was-
I don't think they've got. Well, you know, to be fair, I don't think they've really got a chance. I don't think they've got a chance at Southampton at all.
Did
And
Gary ever decide?
Hassan Hüttl's one of my favourite managers because every time I see him, it's like he's going to burst into tears again. With either tears of joy or tears of anguish, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? So I think Southampton look good at home.
They did lose tonight, but apart from that, they are good.
Oh, fuck that shit then. I'm going to Roy.
No, they'll bounce back. They'll bounce back. They lost to Newcastle. They lost to Newcastle, the new powerhouse. Tony, Southampton, Watford.
Southampton.
Easy win, Alonso, right?
Did Gary
Yeah,
ever answer?
Southampton.
Yeah, eventually he did. Last one, Gary. Palace at home to City on Monday.
Oh, it's just got Crystal Palace written all over it. I mean, City is struggling to score 10 goals. So they're only going to get 5. So, yeah, it's going to be a close one. Yeah, City wins it easy.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Vieira is doing a good job, Stan, but playing City. They did beat City at the Etihad, but coming back, City are going to need that win.
So this is at Palace.
Yes.
Yep.
Crystal Palace.
Selhurst Park.
Did they beat them at the Etihad? Did they?
Yeah, 2-0.
Oh, 2-0.
Yeah, they beat him 2-0.
Interesting.
This
See,
is
that's the
Stan's
thing.
upset pick.
If you're putting again, if you're talking about spending money out of your own wallet, you go with City, don't you? So he just thinks he seems obvious, but this is football. This is football. They beat Man City at their place 2-0. That's a very good result. So who knows? Who knows? But I mean, again, you know, if I'm using my cash, I'm going with City because, as Gary said, you know, it could be 10. They could be like 10-0 up at half time. Who knows? What's their jiggery pokery, right? Who knows? They have an off day. Maybe that was their off day that day against Palace.
We're getting into the last 10 or 11 games in the Premier League race, and I just think
It's good, isn't it?
it's down to Liverpool and it's down to City, and whoever wins the most games between those two, it seems
Ray, that's pretty
No
much how
shit, Ray.
that's how it works.
seems pretty
You know what?
simple to say that.
You know what? If you
Simplistic.
the only way you win is if you put the ball in the net.
If you
I'd
win
say.
more games than the other team, Gary,
City seem to have a bigger squad, don't they? Of quality and depth.
I knew what I said. You know when you say something, you're like, okay, this is pretty obvious.
The worst is when, like, you know, you see these teams are like, all right, now we're gonna bring on Conte. What?
yeah.
All right, Jota has been sitting all day. He's gonna come on. All right, Sterling didn't play. De Bruyne was on the bench. Now we're gonna bring him on now. What?
Yeah. We're going to bring on Gabriel Jesus, but we're going to play him on the wing, not as a striker. And, you know, this is madness. Starting with the 3 up front, was it Sterling, Foden, and it was the other one on the
Come on,
right?
Uncle Paddy Vieira.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Grealish.
I mean, that's the front 3 of Man City. That's just madness, right? Foden, Sterling, and Mahrez, I think it was. It's madness what they can do. And the players that can fit in so many different ways. They bring on Gundogan and he scores goals.
It's just that simple. You win more games than the other team, and you win things.
There
It's
you
that
go.
simple.
You are
Just kind of like the
amazing.
show keeps going
Your
and going and
brilliance
going.
is beyond reproach, as they say. I don't even
Not
know.
rocket science.
Finally, I got to hear that from Gary. He's admitted it. Thank
Like
you.
a Batman's did a takeover.
Palace versus City, Alonso.
This is my upset special. I think Crystal Palace
Second
give
one.
City a
Big
good
points if you
game.
get that, man. Big points, Alonso, for that one, isn't it? If you pick
Yeah.
Palace for your upset and they
On
invest
point.
big points, man, you're doing a Ray. That's kamikaze style.
I hope so, Stan. I hope you're right.
It pays off,
But
mate.
yeah, I have.
It's only 10 points. Ray goes for like 15
I like
pointers.
it.
You spend more money and you win
I
things.
think
Tony, did you want to have a minute or two to speak about your final thoughts?
No.
I want to have my pick first.
Yeah. No.
No, move on.
I wanted to talk about the draw at Selhurst Park. But
Go
I guess
ahead.
I can't talk about
Go
the draw at Selhurst
Go
Park.
ahead. Go ahead.
Who'd they play?
It'll be a
Tony?
draw.
Who'd they play?
It'll
What
be a
was it?
draw.
It's going to be a draw.
Oh, that. Oh.
All right. Listen, there's a backstage pass. Anyone wants to grab it, come in and say hello. We went a little overtime, so we got a better time.
A little overtime.
Tony didn't manage the clock. Tony did not manage the clock tonight. Alonso, good to have you in here again, Alonso.
Thanks. Yeah. So I think these next three games will be tough. I think Liverpool and Aston Villa will be tough. I think the way Gerard has his villains playing are playing very good lately. So this is not walking apart kind of Aston Villa's past. I think when you have a rejuvenated squad like Gerard does, it's gonna be tough. And I think Aston Villa, Liverpool also they want to win the league. They are what we want to be next year, hopefully. So yeah, I think that's like I said before, they're going to give us a go, no matter who's playing or who's hurt or whatnot. I think that it's going to be tough games ahead of us, no matter what people say. So yeah, come on, Arsenal.
Yeah, I still think we are Man City light building in a Liverpool way. Gary, Stan, thanks for joining as always tonight.
Pleasure.
Thank you, people.
Better not be too many monologues. We'll get out of here. Tony, anything else to say? Forever hold your peace.
And I got stuff to say.
Say good night, Tony.
Yesterday was my 1 year anniversary of my grandma passing away. Still think about her all the time.
Oh yeah, okay.
And today I went to my eye doctor. Found out I got blood on the retinas of both eyes. So either tomorrow I get a needle jabbed in the eye or laser surgery, whichever one happens.
I thought you got Sam to help you out. You got blood coming out of your eyes. I thought Sam would have been the man to get in contact with that.
Sam would be trying to
suck them out of your eye. Suck that blood out. Snake eyes.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight.
All right, Tony. Thanks, everybody. Say good night, Tony.
Good night, Batman.
Take care, everyone. We will see you Sunday. We better get that win against Leicester City.